Head to Knoxville, don't be late. Baker's Live, it's gonna be great. June 5th and 6th, mark your date at Dollywood, we'll celebrate. Meet Baker and more cool friends. Live show magic that never ends. Come to Dollywood, feel the vibe. With great people there, it's gonna be a ride. Rides, fun, and meet and greet. Baker and pals, the crew's so sweet. Get ready for laughs, cheers, and thrills. Knoxville's the place, it's giving chills. Meet Baker and more cool friends. Live show magic that never ends. Come to Dollywood, feel the vibe. With great people there, it's gonna be a ride. June 5th and 6th, don't miss the fun. Meet Baker and friends, it's second to none. Baker and friends, it's second to
Welcome back. No, Marissa will yell at me. Welcome back to this exciting trial where Dr. Tuerk is standing trial for unaliving his wife. He admitted doing it, but was it a crime of passion because she was a little too loose, giving cake to the neighbors, or was he a man who wanted to end a loose end before he went back to Germany? You know those Germans. Will we find out today on the Broken Bakers live stream from Massachusetts? We bring you powerhouses in the legal world who gives you the bestest, the crispest audio recording you have ever heard. It's high octane entertainment. I would tell you to hold on to your butts, but if you're watching this trial, you don't even have a butt anymore. It's been BLOVEN off. I don't know if that's how you spell blown, but it's been blown off. Excitement around every corner. Great witnesses, great questions from the prosecution, and we are on our tippy toes all the time because this trial will only grow in suspense until we reach its sad conclusion. The lady isn't here anymore. But was it red rum or was it only a manslaughter put on by the actions of her? We will figure it out in the Rumble in Massachusetts. Perfect timing for a nap. Well, I'll talk you to sleep. Yeah, it's not been the most entertaining today. Well, yeah, there's no doubt that he done her in because his attorney said so in opening statements. He saved 100 lives with his hands, but he only took one, so come on now. That's 1%. That's a pretty good percentage. I didn't know the Swedes were keeping the Danish lady busy before Columbus sailed this beautiful blue ocean that spares us from hairy armpits, mankinis, and 80% tax rates. Well, I didn't know you had a country that needed an Italian to find it. Working for a Spaniard? I wouldn't rather have a Swede sleep with a Danish lady because it should be the other way around. So the superior Danish genes will take over because that's how we got our king. Is this your Plevin impersonation? No, my Plevin impersonation is.
You guys. I just released a book today, you guys. I got published by one of the biggest publishers out there. You guys, you can go get it. It's a wonderful book. I wrote it. I didn't want to read it, but it's a great book where I really show all the legal analysis of the Karen Reed case, and I make up words that doesn't exist because I think it makes me sound smart, you guys. So if you could please part with $10 for an ebook, $10 only. You can get it on Kindle. If you're feeling especially froggy and want to help me get some money 6 months down the line because I sold my rights to a publishing house, you can buy the paperback. It's only I can't remember how much this paperback is.
Do I have a link to it? I think I have a link somewhere. Just to see how much he charges. Storm of Suspicion.
If you have
well, this is in euros. Can I get it in dollar reduce? Well, maybe I can't.
If you have 22 euros, you can get the paperback book. But if you really want to have the great book, the good book, the hardcover book, so it'll last for generations. This is a generational book, you guys. It's only 32 euros, and the first 5 sold copies, I'll sign personally for you. Personally selling it for you. It's. So far, I haven't sold any, but I'll sign all of them. My mom says she doesn't want it, so I'll find some of you out there
to read the magic of odd things can add up to unreasonable doubt. Sure, that can be certain. They can certainly add up to reasonable doubt. We all know that. But that's an odd thing in every case, no exceptions. Dig long enough, and with the resources of a good defense team, digging isn't a problem, and odd things will be found. But we're also going to examine whether any of the odd things actually have reasonable explanations. To the extent that the state case isn't compelling, explaining the odd things become more important. Well, the state case isn't compelling. Big old pillock. And sadly, I have reached out to Plevin, asked for permission to read the book on a live stream, and he doesn't own the rights to it, so he couldn't give me the rights to read it. He offered to come on and talk about it. Well, I will write it. I will read it, and then I'll write my review, and I will... Hands up, I'm not a legal mind. I'm not a certified bookologist. I did get A pluses when we did book reports back in school because I'm pretty good at disseminating books. I have read the prologue because I was so bored I began reading the prologue. It is not good. I wouldn't recommend anyone, even if you have a Kindle where you can get it for free, I wouldn't recommend anyone buying it or getting it for free. It will hurt your brain to read it. But I will do it because Marissa hates me, Jemima hates me, Brandon hates me, Iris hates me, Farrell hates me. Jamie hates Valhalla. Who else do I have on as mods? Valhalla hates me. Nightbot hates me. Do I have more mods? I might have a few more mods, but they all hate me and forced me to read this book. So I will read it. I will do a book report on it. I will be fair. I won't just say, well, you are an idiot. I will read it objectively. I will, of course, base on my own interpretation. Notice his writing style, his editing of the book, if it's an easy read, if it's a read that will catch you. I won't tell you when I'll be done with it. It is 355 pages, so it might take me a little bit, but I will work on a book report, and I will do a real no BS. Well, some BS. It's me. But I will try and give it a fair shake, unless it's just as stupid as the prologue, and then I will probably just sit here, do the Sue salute for 30 minutes and say, I hate you. Well, you're not a mod. Well, he turned over his rights and he'll be paid 6 months down the line if there's a profit. That's $50 Canadian. Oh, yeah, so that's like 35 American or something like that. Hey, Andrea Teal. Did I forget Jemima? Sorry, Jemima hates me. I said Valhalla. Luckily, I'm on the ground floor, so even if it pesters me that much, I can survive. Wipe the ketchup off my chin. I think it's a sit. Who's Pleving? Is it that FL Gold Digger that hates Turtle? No, that's Sean of the Golf. He nuked his channel after he got into all the trouble. Plevin is the thumb-looking guy who's in his mom's attic with the weirdest lighting, and he talks, hey, you guys, the logic tells you that just because there's no indication he was hit by a car, he must have been hit by a car. It's just logic. I hate Turtle Boy. He doesn't understand anything. I did an analysis and I wrote a book. Is Pleving reading the audiobook? Otherwise, it would have been considered an assault to the voice actor. Well, I am suing for mental anguish after this. Welcome back, Helen from Holland. Yeah, of course you just woke up. It's 2 in the afternoon, so that's early for you. Yeah, he nuked his channel because he went on that attack that Karen Reed owed him something and everyone was a bad person. And then he did some member streams where he was attacking everyone, and then he nuked his channel.
Ready for the jurors?
No, you just self-publish. It's not that bad. Oh yeah, that's Plevin. Plevin had stage 4 cancer and survived.
You guys, it's all about logic. It's about logic.
And he dual streams with Kate Peters, who today was out complaining that other people talk nasty about others. Plevin was the guy that said he wished that someone would self-delete. And when people said, did you just say that? He said, yeah, I hope she... So Plevin is a wonderful person. And he spelled Marissa's name wrong in his reply when she wrote and asked for the rights to the book. Well, we didn't ask for the rights, we just asked for the rights to use it in a stream. So... It's impossible to have stage 4 brain cancer and now it's gone. No, it's not. Plevin survived. I think there's a 0.01 or 0.1% chance, and he was just lucky. Because he wanted a pixie cut.
What's back in section? Maybe seated.
True, Sergeant back.
Sergeant Kotkowski, please.
Okay.
All set.
Let's get back to this.
Yeah, you don't. It's fine. Thank you for asking. Miss Beatty, the top of page 51 is the transcript reference?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Gilman, can you please resume playing this?
I'm drinking over the last several months more because of all the job issues.
Yeah, what you drinking?
Typically, whiskey,
Whiskey? Yeah.
Glenfiddich.
Vodka at all?
No,
Whiskey?
yeah, I mean, yes. Katie,
The German, you must drink beer.
not so much actually, but
whiskey,
Katie,
yeah.
when I was with Katie before, and then recently she did like to make martinis.
Oh, martinis, yeah.
She really does a good job. She learned very well to do martinis. So yeah, and Thursday we started off with, I started off with martinis.
Yeah.
She offered martini in
Thursday?
the afternoon. So yeah,
What
I
kind?
remember that.
What kind? Martinis.
30.
Oh, dirty, yeah, regular. No chocolate or anything like that, just dirty.
What color I think is
I'm a martini guy myself. I make some pretty good ones too.
Rumor has it that one juror has been chosen already for the Karen Reed trial. And apparently all the antis is up in arms because Aiden, remember Beverly Canoni gave that that order that no distinguishing features must be spread so you could recognize jurors. And Aiden said a black person had been at the sidebar and seemed like he was being called back. And now they're writing Bev saying, well, calling him a person of color makes him easily distinguishable. Is there only one black guy in that area? How does the color of his skin make him easily distinguishable? And of course, Grant is losing his mind and claiming that he's going to be sued and blah, blah, blah. Idiots.
we're going to switch to whiskey.
Tough mix.
Any idea when you made that switch what time it was?
What's around?
Yeah, but all the antis is out there losing their mind. One of them has already written a mail.
When we started watching the TV show, Sons of Monarchy,
Okay.
again, she started to get angry, and I got a little annoyed by the fact that there was a lot of arguing going on from this side. So I just said, okay, let me take some whiskey over the next week.
Yeah.
That's a tough mix. Whiskey and vodka.
I found out.
I can do vodka and beer. Right? Whiskey and vodka is
I didn't
a
think
tough
about it, I
mix.
just wanted to
Yeah.
get my nerves calmed down.
Yeah.
So I drank a lot of whiskey,
Yeah.
and then
What kind? What's your favorite?
again, Glenfiddich.
Oh,
That was downstairs, right? You want to go that?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I took it upstairs and
yeah.
And the fight obviously continued upstairs.
yes, it did.
Yeah. And she remained the aggressor, right?
She had a very aggressive language toward me, and I didn't really understand why she wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
Actually, we did go upstairs with the drinks. believe we had sex.
Yeah.
But again, that was consensual. She initiated it. And then she looked at my phone and saw text messages of an old friend that she always despised.
A girlfriend? Or
No,
friend?
Guy friend? A friend,
Yeah.
but a female.
Oh, no, I don't mean like girlfriend. Is it girlfriend? But I mean a girl who's a friend or a guy who's a friend?
Yeah, 15, 16 years ago, we had one moment of making out a little bit. That's all.
So it was a woman.
Any kind of she's a woman.
Oh, woman for okay, oh, that's right.
And she saw my text messages. And she wanted to see what we talked about during our separation time. I said, don't do this because there's angry words in there because we were in a phone book. You know, since she and I were very angry at each other. And so I said, please don't look at the messages because they're not true for today. That was 2 or 3 months ago. But she wanted to see what has been said.
Did you let us see him?
Huh?
Did you let us see him?
Yeah, because we said we're being transparent now, we're not doing the hiding stuff anymore. I said, okay. And I said, how about your text messages? Oh, I'm smarter than you, I deleted all this stuff. I said, but I wanted to keep it because I wanted to give you trust that you can see it, but I didn't understand that you get angry at stuff that's 3 months old, that's been told, what's said, this angry emotion.
It doesn't matter. He said it. If you confess, you confess. It'll be used against you. And again, remember, he confessed in the opening statements that he did it.
Yeah, and then she got very angry again because she saw some stuff that she didn't like. Really angry again.
She decided to? I'm sure she did.
I think again, I don't exactly remember, but something hit me.
I don't trust everything. It's April 1st today, and it's the expert. 2 strikes against the truthfulness of that statement he came with. I'm not getting manicure, pedicures, or any cures. Only liquors.
About what time do you think this was?
Late. Must have been pretty late. And again, I'm sorry, I can't give you
Maybe I
exact
should get a
time.
Brazilian.
How much do you think you would drink in a day overall? I mean, yeah.
Don't get bored on stream.
I'm
You
not
say
ready to go
stupid
to
stuff
date. I
like that.
started
Remember
at
that?
5.
Yeah, but
But now you're talking what, midnight before or after?
Yeah, probably after, I think. The martinis and all this thing, so, sorry.
And then what, Jim? Go ahead, Harry.
I think that choked her
You think you did?
as a reaction to the aggressive aggression situation.
And then what happened?
She passed out.
She passed out.
She was fighting first and I was continuing and she passed out and I realized we didn't far problem.
Where does that happen? In the bedroom? In the bedroom?
That area. I remember, yeah.
All right. And then what? After she passed out, was she on the bed or on the floor?
I believe she was on the floor.
Yeah.
I said, yeah. Then, to me, it was the floor.
Yeah.
So now I panicked and said, I need to put it somewhere else.
Yep. And then what?
Again, I have really very little memory about this stuff, and it's just a little bit there, and then I drove somewhere in the woods, and I'm not sure.
You threw her in the woods?
Yeah.
Did you?
What is that?
How did you get her out of the house?
Carried her.
You carried her? You put her?
I
Do you think you put her in a bag or anything? You just carried her up? You carried her over your shoulder or you carried her like this? How did you put the hand on the street? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Okay. And where did you put her when you carried her up? Where was the Jeep parked? Was it the garage or was it parked in the driveway?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
What do you think, though? You know, I don't think they're crown. I think it made a mistake.
Yeah, they are trying to say it was a crime of passion and most likely a manslaughter charge because that's 15 years.
You know what I mean? I think you just made a mistake, right? Am I right? And I know you're not a criminal. I think you just made a mistake. And sitting here this long, I can tell. Even from I've been watching you, Harry, from outside there.
Hey, Chrissy, yeah, it's been too long. You're always hanging out with all the cool people. But glad you could join us here today. I will not get a mani-pedi, whatever. I will make the expert get a Brazilian.
And I can tell Harry was just eating at you. You know what I mean? Looking at you from that window. I've been watching your body language, and I can tell.
I'm so sorry.
I can tell it's just eating at you. And I think it's time. Harry, I'm a guy that's been known to have a few drinks myself. And I don't. There are a lot of times I think I'd like to say I don't remember, but I do. And it's convenient for me to say I don't remember. And I wish I didn't remember, but I did. And you know what?
I don't remember this text message or something. I don't really remember having done such stuff.
I think you remember. I think you're being being not all the way honest. I do think you're being pretty honest. I think you made a mistake. I think you're being pretty honest. But I don't think you're being all the way honest. I think you really don't want to think about it, but I do think you remember what happened a lot more clearly than you're saying. I do. And I really wish we could just get it all out here. You know what I mean? Like, you were in the bed, up in the room. Pretty sure you do remember. You choked her. It would just help us if we got a much clearer picture. And like I said, as a guy that hasn't been myself, it's like, hey, I still remember me. And I gotta tell you, I watched the video the next day of you coming home in the hotel, and you parked the car straight. You seem to be walking pretty clear. I know you weren't on the right line, but I think you remember a lot clearer. What else can you tell us, Harry? What else? Please.
It's all I got right now. I don't remember even having drinks at the hotel. I really don't.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
So when she did the choke her, did she fall to the ground?
I think it was an effect.
I'm sorry?
I think it was an effect. I'm not 100% sure. It's all.
When she hit you, Harry, was she saying anything? Did she say anything?
She's screaming the whole time.
Yeah.
Soul, the motherfucker, and then man, blah blah blah.
Who was she talking about? The person on the phone?
Yeah, the text message that I was saying, hey, there's another woman that she acted like a widow or something, and said, and then she talked about something.
He might have hurt himself. There was a kitchen knife, and we're not talking about like a bread knife. We're talking about like a normal eating knife, not even a steak knife, found near to some tissues with blood on it. And he had scratches on his arms and on his legs. But he was passed out drunk and didn't wake up for I can't remember how many hours. They had to move him to a different hospital to treat his they thought he tried to self-delete with alcohol. So we haven't really heard much about his injuries and that it was a self-deletion attempt or anything. And how did they know to find him in the hotel? Because he sent a text to a friend and saying, well, she lied to all of us. And then they went to the house, did a wellness check, the police. They didn't find her. And they knew he was staying at the hotel because he was living there because of the COOF. She had a restraining order on him. So he had moved into that hotel so he could be near there. But he had been at the house on Thursday and they found him Saturday night. And this interview is on Sunday, where they then find the body, I believe. They found it on Sunday. So, and he just testified he did it. But again, the story is she slapped him in the face when he tried to beg her to come take him back. But it just doesn't add up with the story we heard about her kind of flirting with the neighbor, also looking for a dentist, not to fix her teeth, but her downstairs plumbing. So it's I don't know if I'm buying this confession.
Something.
Have you guys argued about this woman before?
That's a very good point. Actually, yes.
Yeah.
Right early in our relationship, she became suspicious of her, although there's nothing sexual or something.
But that's something that just kind of ate at her the whole time, and always did.
Now she's again there, and you're absolutely correct.
What was her name?
What?
What was her name?
Kate Kelly,
Kate Kelly. Yeah. Where she live?
New Hampshire. Not sure exactly where, because I'm just texting this her.
Yeah.
I met her many years ago. I think I did surgery on her father.
Oh, you did, yeah. So.
And then that's right. That was always a target for her. Although I told her, there's nothing to worry about. All there is talking going on, checking in with each other. There's nothing sexual.
Do you think you hit her at all, or do you think you just, like lashed out when she hit you, or do you think you just choked her?
I think I just choked her.
Just choked her. For how long do you think? Any idea?
No. I don't know. No.
So Harry, you were talking. You think she stopped breathing? You think she was dead? Get the bedroom, she was dead. Okay. When you got her down to the car, how far do you think you drove? And which way? Do you remember?
No, that's a good question.
Like how long do you think you were in the car for?
I'm honest. I'm telling you, it's very hard. The hotel, then you guys say you saw me in the video coming to.
We have no evidence suggesting that allegedly he should be jealous of her, but we haven't heard from the neighbor she was texting that he had any suspicion about it, and we didn't hear it from the girlfriend who had a very, very busy time trying to protect her reputation.
The hotel, I don't really remember. I haven't been there, but
Now it's about 5:22.
I don't really.
Do you think you drove like the normal
Yeah, just before he cried, he said, I did it.
route you would have drove from, like, you know, you had gone back and forth several times from the hotel to that house? Do you think you drove that same route you would have drove as if you would just go in the hotel and maybe stop somewhere else along the way on the road? Or did you go to a place you remembered, or you know, place in mind?
Again, not necessarily all the way up, rather than just somewhere in the woods area.
Do you remember any landmarks, like a tree or a sign or water?
Yes, this is the small courtroom. The big courtroom has 90 plus jurors in it today to do voir dire on the Karen Read case. That's why they switched courtrooms to the little one.
Yeah, some water was around there.
How far would you say from the road, from the time you start driving to where you left her? You know,
Did we were in the ground, like, you know, after a tree, we were in the water? How are we gonna find it? Was she in grass? Was it gravel?
Some books.
Was it in the woods?
did you just carry her like regular, or did you put her in something? Or carry her, I mean, a bed, a box, or anything?
Not that I
No?
remember.
Okay.
So Harry, when you carried her out of the house, went downstairs, through the kitchen, into the garage, that the route you took? Side door there, out to the garage?
Did you see them?
Yeah, all right. And the Jeep, you don't know, was it in the driveway or was it in the garage?
I think it was a little.
Okay.
And you put her in like the back, like that cargo area or the back seat? Okay.
No, I put in
Have a great day,
front seat.
Tim.
Oh, in the front seat?
Was she sitting up? How'd you put her in? Yeah, that's what you did. You drove to that location directly there, the tennis courts? Remember where you parked?
No,
Okay, so you get to the tennis courts. Now, you take your Jeep into the woods?
no.
You park right at the courts and you get out of the vehicle?
It's,
Was it the side of the road, or were you in like a parking space, or just on the shoulder, or
I know it's on that, there's a parking space.
parking space there?
Okay. Then you go, and you go to the passenger side front door. Open it up.
Probably.
Huh?
Probably not.
Okay.
And how far do you think from that vehicle to the woods? Like in the area you put her in the woods, can you remember, like, was there a lot of bushes, a lot of trees, a lot of rocks?
The border.
And there was water?
Yeah.
Like running water, like a stream or river, or like a pond or a swamp or a lake?
No water. Kind of hot, in hot water.
Like by a pond, I mean like a small, like flat, or was it like running water, like a stream or a river? You don't think about it?
We
Yeah.
talked about the trail that marked around up there. You familiar? You remember which trail you went up? No. The dark.
How far do you think? Like a 30-second walk, 15-second walk, 2-minute walk?
So,
But not like right there. You walked a little ways. And then what, Harry? How much? You put her down?
Yeah. Cover up, Harry, or you were?
that's it.
Okay, what was she wearing?
The same stuff that she was wearing. I believe that it's some exercise clothes, but I'm sure 100%.
Okay. You know what color they were? Or? Okay. So you put her down, you stay there for a little bit? Or you leave right away? What did you do? You left? When you left, you...
I'm not sure about all the timeline.
Did you go back to the house at all? Or did you go right to the hotel?
I'm sure.
You don't remember? So you could have done, either you could have gone back to the house, or you could have...
I have no recollection of what
I'm sorry, I missed that.
I said I have no recollection when I got to the hotel.
Did you go back to the hotel and go sleep?
I'm sure what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Remember, you tried to harm yourself at the hotel?
I don't remember that. Pretty much. I kept thinking, I think.
Do you think there's any chance you'd be able to find either on a map, or you say where she was? Do you think you'd remember well enough? No. But when you got in the car from the house, how How long would you guess you were driving for before you pulled over? Like less than 5 minutes, less than 3 minutes, between 5 and 10? I mean, think you could give us a general time frame?
Well, you said you talked to the little tennis courts, right? That's accurate?
I believe so, yeah. I'm not sure, really know. It's not that far away. I guess I can't give you any timelines in there. It's very difficult for me to remember any timelines.
Yeah, I know time.
If you didn't take a plea deal, it's really hard to do a plea deal. It's the same thing with Karen Reed. Karen Reed, on the face, is a simple hit and run case. They instead of pleading up, they should have given her, as they did to begin with, have given her a sweetheart deal on a manslaughter charge, gotten it out of there in bingo bango 5 minutes. But they got vindictive and then upcharged her to second degree, and she still wouldn't plea. That's why she's in court, because if you look at Karen Reed's case with general glasses on, not because the knowledge we have, Karen Reed is a simple hit and run case. There's nothing spectacular in it. At first, when you upcharge it to murder and claim she wanted to do it and she prepared to do it and she chose to do it, then it gets a little bit murky. And they thought they could pressure her into a plea deal by upcharging her. It didn't work. That's why they're in court. If this guy says, well, I didn't plan it, it was a crime of passion, I won't go away for life, and they didn't give him a sweetheart deal, well, you don't have, you can't force anyone to take a plea deal.
But you're positive, though, it's the spot we're talking about.
Sorry?
But you're positive, though, it's the spot we're talking about. I said you're positive, though, it's the location we
But maybe they did, and he didn't say yes.
What's that? Okay.
I just, most importantly, there was some water there. Yeah.
Like how close was she to the water? Like you could see it from where you were, or she's close to the water?
If it were on the edge of the water.
On the edge of the water? Could she have fallen in water or gone in the water?
Possibly.
Possibly. So she might be in water. She could be.
Possibly.
Okay.
So when you left it, though, she wasn't in the water.
Yes, as I said, it's half.
I don't. So you think there's a good chance anyway, or a decent chance she could be in water?
I don't know.
Yeah. But she could be. What do you think, Harry? Do you think you left her in a way where maybe you didn't want anybody to find her?
Possibly.
You know what? I really do appreciate you being honest. And like I said, I think the things are coming out, as things are coming out and you're talking about, you seem to be remembering a little bit more. Now, I mean, to me, you already got over the hump. You already got over the hot part. I mean, she hit you. You kind of lost your mind. You guys were both, you and her were both drinking all day. You know, you had that bad 30 seconds, that bad mistake. But I mean, you had a bad minute, a bad 30 seconds, whatever it was. But now you're being honest about it. And what we really appreciated if you were all the way honest. They, talking to people now, there may be some luggage, some other things missing from the house. And I think maybe this part you might be, you're honest about what happened, but I think you might be embarrassed about what happened after. But I think right now you need to be honest all the way through about everything. Did you put her stuff?
I don't think he's going for not guilty. I'm thinking he's going for manslaughter. That's my feeling of it.
And maybe try to weight her down and put her in water where no one would find her? Is that what happened? That's kind of the feeling I'm getting. That maybe, I wasn't in your shoes, I can't say what you're thinking, I can't tell you everything you remember you didn't, but I think maybe you tried to put her somewhere you thought no one would find her. Is she in something? Is she maybe weighted down or in that water where maybe it would be hard for someone to find her?
I didn't put her in something as far as I remember.
Yeah. But she could be in the water. We've gone this far, Harry. We've gone this far. Let's get it all out, because what's going to happen is, in the end, once everything is pieced together, it's kind of all going to fit. So if we get the truth now, it'll be a lot better for everybody. Let's get the whole truth out now. Like, maybe you can give us a little bit better area we should look, and I think you can give us how we should look. But take a minute and think about it. See if you can help us out here. So you've gotten over the hump, you've gotten over the hard part. Let's hear it all. Let's hear everything.
I didn't want to do it.
I know you. You're a smart man. Clear.
And he just said, I didn't want to do it. It again. And yeah, the defense said he just touched her neck and she fell over. In the best of circumstances, if you are perfect at it, you can maybe make them pass out in, rear choked holes and stuff like that in MMA. You can make them pass out, but to cut it off, you have to stop the blood flow to the brain. It takes some time.
Is she in any kind of container, Harry? No? When you carried her out, did you carry her like in front of you, like to you, like a scoop, or over your head or over your shoulder? Do you remember?
It's more 2 hands, I believe.
Like in front of you, just held her in the front? Yeah. Was she bleeding or anything? No? Just take a drink, kind of catch your breath, think about it, Harry. So your cup's right there to you, right? Sit there right now. Right there. Is there anything right now, Harry, you could think about that could help us out as far as, like I say, finding her? For everybody concerned, your family, hers. Us, we've had a lot of guys working around the clock, kind of answer a lot of questions for a lot of people. Maybe help a lot of other people to move on, Your family, her family, everybody. A mistake was made here. Let's do everything we can to kind of make the rest of this whole scenario as easy for everybody else as possible. You know what I mean? It's fine, let's get on with it. So these people can have the peace, have this ceremony for the family. And
I think what Rich is trying to say is that remember to help us find her, just those tell our kids kind of found her. That's what we want to do.
we're past the hard part, Harry. We're past the hard part.
We just want to go tell our kids and her family.
They are illegal to own in Denmark because they're classified as a weapon, unless you use it for hunting.
We found her. So everything else we found.
And that you helped us find her. That you made a mistake. And then you helped us find her because you were thinking of them. A mistake was made, but then you care about these people and then you're thinking about them. And it might seem a little thing, it could be a big thing to others if you could just help us out a little bit more with this.
She is in water.
She is in water?
Yes.
Okay. Like a lake or a pond?
A pond.
Wow, where is this pond?
It's close around the corner from the house.
To the house? Okay.
To the right side. I'm not sure what the name of the pond is.
Okay.
What street is the pond on, man?
Is that?
What street is the pond on?
I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know what the name is of the street.
Okay. So we're leaving your driveway, we're down your street, which way do I go?
Go to the right,
The right, okay.
on the driveway, then the left, then the right.
So wait,
And then the next right.
so I go down your driveway, and go to your street, I take a right. Yeah,
Yeah, you,
and then I take the next left.
yes. And then
Then what do I do?
you get on Walpole Street.
What, I gotta take a right or left on Walpole?
Right, that's it.
So right on Walpole, okay. And then what do I do?
That's in the next right again.
Then the next right, which is, you know the name of that street? Okay. So I take that next right, Harry, and then what do I do?
Not 100% sure. Because again, it's a little wishy, but I think on the left side of that street, there are two new constructions. And one of them, the left side house is on the pond.
They're building new houses on this
No,
pond?
they're building since several years.
Do you think this pond is still in Dover?
Yeah, I think it's
Right in Dover, it's right there?
Now, is this pond behind one of the newer homes?
Yeah.
It is. Okay.
And this, she was right on the beginning of the pond with the new home that hasn't sold.
So,
How far in the water is she, do you think?
A couple feet.
We're not allowed to have rapiers in Denmark. It's an offensive weapon. We can't have anything over 3 inches.
Is she in a suitcase?
No, she's not
No, he's one of the idiots who thought, I can talk my way out of this.
in the suitcase.
She's not, nothing tied around her, or she's not in anything, she's just in the water?
okay, so if we make that, we're gonna take a right on Walpole Street, we'll take the next right, okay?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, then we go down a little bit, the two houses are on the left-hand side, one of them's for sale.
Those are for sale. One is sold and one is for sale, yes. The
Okay.
one for sale not being sold is the one that I drove and then
I'm sorry, the one,
the one that is not sold yet.
not sold, do they have
On the left side of the double driveway.
left side of the one?
You know the color?
The house?
Yeah.
Not sure, it's
Okay.
whitish, beige.
Okay, so we're gonna, the house on the left-hand side, so if I look at the house, I'm gonna go to the house on the
That's
left.
in the pond right there. And
The house on the left of the house?
Yes.
Okay. And she's definitely in the water, but only a couple feet in, you think, right? Okay.
And those houses there, do you notice any cars in the driveway that would stick out?
On the other side, I mean, the house is sold. I think there were cars and something, but I
You don't remember what kind, what color? Big one. Okay.
And how big, is it a big pond? Is it
It's
a
a pretty big pond. Yeah.
So if I'm approaching the home, and I see the pond on my left-hand side,
Yeah.
where am I gonna go to find her? Like, am I gonna go
Right to the, and that's the garage, and you go right in front of the garage down to the pond.
next to the garage?
Yeah.
How did you know this place?
We looked at the houses actually a couple of years ago.
Oh, to buy? Yeah.
There's nothing weighing her down or anything like that?
So
There's nothing weighting her down?
I may have put the wrong
I'm not sure that he choked her before. I think the RO says he pushed her in the neck area. I'm not sure it's a choked.
on top of it, but I'm not sure. That's
Okay.
Okay. But nothing was tied around her, that's, I mean, okay. So that was after you put her in the pond, what did you do?
as far as I remember, but please don't take me for granted.
Okay.
Because again, it's not really all together. I think I go back home as it took over, got some stuff, and then some line it up with it as well.
So you go back home, you know what you picked up at the house?
Same number.
You picked up your wallet?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Okay. You know what you parked when you came back home? You pulled back into the driveway, into the garage, or did you leave the drive?
If I wasn't that way.
Up in the driveway? Okay.
Hey, Paula.
What door did you use? Did you go through the garage and the side door in there? Okay.
Well, apparently, and I know you don't know anything about this. A lot of people in my chat think they are upside down pineapple people. I was told yesterday, but I'm a good Christian channel, so I won't say what it is.
You know, inside you grab your wallet, you got anything else?
Probably whiskey.
Some more whiskey. Okay.
But I'm not sure. Again, I just continue to drink through it.
Okay.
As far as I remember, it's concerned.
You know what you do?
I'm sure again, someone I'll end up with that. I really don't remember.
You have to get to bed soon. You have a garden to tend tomorrow.
Is there anything else you want to say, Harry?
I'm so sorry, but
Yeah.
I really loved her. I saw me dancing every single hour. We just saw people. She was so angry the whole evening. I don't understand. Sorry. I don't know.
Harry.
I'm sorry.
those marks on your hair, yeah, was it bushes and stuff you went through? Is that what it was? That you straightened up?
Bushes around her body, yes.
Right there? On the dark. You don't think anybody saw you?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Could be.
You have to pull up inside the street there to get out.
Or drove over to the garage.
Oh, you drove to the garage.
That's again.
To the garage of one of the houses?
Then again, that was an empty, it's an empty office.
Oh, you knew it was empty?
You have to sit on the side.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I believe. I'm not sure, but I believe.
What was the last time you guys looked at those houses?
That's for 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah. They still didn't sell them all yet, or they kept
So
building?
one and didn't sell the other one. I'm not sure why. I believe, again, maybe I'm wrong.
All right, you said she was in the front seat. She was in the front seat.
Sorry.
She was in the front seat. So.
Yes, why?
I'm sorry.
Why?
Oh, no, you have to know when you put her in these lists.
Yeah.
Anything else at all, Harry, you want to say? You want
I'm sorry.
Yes, sure. Okay.
Now, you knew she was deceased when you put her in the pond, right?
That's all.
You knew she was dead when you put her in the pond, right?
That,
I'm sorry.
I panicked in that moment. I didn't want her dead. I wanted to cut my daughter. And I was like, shit.
I wouldn't believe that. You're not a criminal.
Shit. Shit. I didn't want that. I didn't. I was not. I didn't want it.
Just to, you know, make sure we got it right. You think you were in the bed, next to the bed? Exactly.
Did you call anybody after Harry? Tell them what you did?
Again, I didn't even remember a text message, I suppose I said.
Okay.
I don't know.
Finally, Tash is
Anybody else
here.
after this?
No. I just wanted to make it all disappear.
You're obviously very sorry for what you did. State found you in.
Maybe it's because I don't find he has much of an accent.
Harry, is that pond, is it all surrounded by that brush? Is there a lot of that brush?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that part. Definitely that part, yeah.
But the water is behind the house that's for sale. It's like part of the same property. It's like, I was just saying, you remember the color of the house? No.
Yeah. Kind of whitish.
Okay, light color. So when you walked out, you went in the driveway, you had to walk around, what, the right or the left side of the house? Oh, the driveway's not directly in
There's
front?
the house and the
Yep.
garage this way, and then I stopped here, took out, and walked right down to the pond.
Okay. Anything else, sir?
Just wondering about that.
Okay.
What he have said here is that he did it and he didn't mean to do it. And he carried her and dropped her at the pond, but he didn't really know if she would be in the water or not, but she was not covered up with anything. And the scratches he had was from brambles and stuff like that he walked through. That's what he have testified to. He is Indian. I think it's because we're used to thick German accents.
Is there any details that we missed that you think that we
It does sound Austrian because it sounds like Arnold.
That we might have questions about. Too.
Okay. 8:59 p.m. on Saturday, May 6th, 2020. You got a termination.
Sergeant Patkowski. Pankowski, the defendant provided you with some directions towards the end of his statement. What, if anything, did you do with regard to those directions after the statement?
So I called Sergeant John Fanning.
Hey, everyone, if you are a German talker, speaker, understander, and want to hang out with a cool person who doesn't have a stupid Danish accent but has a great English accent when he talks English, but he doesn't do that on his own channel. But check out Alles Nur Geklaut. He interprets court cases and comments on them, and he has a very, very cool chat. So if by some chance Jamie might unalive me because of all the things I've said about her today, and you need somewhere else to hang out, he normally streams weekdays at 8:30, 9 o'clock our time. So go check out Alles Nur Geklaut, which means everything is stolen, for those of you who don't speak German.
A little bit. And who was Sergeant John Fanning?
He was a supervisor in the State Detective Unit in Norfolk County.
And where was he at the point that you called him?
I believe he was at the Dover Police Station, but I'm not sure about that.
Okay. And did you provide those directions to Sergeant Fanning?
I did.
And during the interview, you discussed woods on multiple occasions in the interview. Why was that?
Well, there was an emergency ping for Katie's cell phone, and it was pinging in the woods. So that was the only lead we had at the time, and we assumed that she or her phone may be in the woods.
Ms. Gilman, could you please show exhibit number 54 at this time if we have the lights off?
Ms. Beatty, can you have the jurors just pass the binders down?
Yes.
Okay.
And turn up your microphone. Yeah, go check him out. It's a great channel if you speak German. Or just had German in school and wanna... He has a very good way of pronouncing, so it's easy to follow along. And his name is kind of the same as in this file. I'm not saying, but still, I'm saying. Hey, Christy, you're late, but welcome.
So, Sergeant Pankowski, what is shown in exhibit number 54?
That's the defendant's, I believe it's his left foot.
And who took this photograph?
I took that photograph with my cell phone.
All right. And that's what we heard during the statement. Is that fair to say?
Yes,
Could we have exhibit number 55, please?
Welcome.
What is in 55?
that's the defendant's lower right leg.
And could we have 56, please?
I don't know many German songs,
Another
only
photo of the defendant's
Rammstein
right
and
foot,
Nena.
the bottom of his right leg.
57, please, Ms. Gilman. And what is that?
A photo of the defendant's left hand and arm.
Ms. Gilman, is there any way to make them a little bit bigger, or is that better than that? Okay. Can you go down just a little bit?
Oh, I should big screen this so you can better see it.
Thank you. Okay. And could we have 58, please? And what is in exhibit number 58?
That's a photo of the defendant's left hand, palm, and wrist.
Thank you. Could we have exhibit number 59?
I like Chris's looks at his feet. Marissa, no. It's pure party time already. I don't care about no feet pics. I want the Richard pics.
And what's in 59?
That's a photo of the defendant's right hand.
Ms. Gilman, can you zoom in a little bit, please? Yeah, can you move it down a little bit? Thank you. And could we have exhibit 60, please? What's in exhibit number 60?
That's a photo of the defendant's right hand, palm, wrist.
Okay, and can we have exhibit 61? And what is that a photograph of?
It's a photo of the left side of the defendant's head.
Okay, and exhibit number 62? And what's in exhibit number 62?
That's a photo of the defendant's left forehead.
And did you take all of these photographs in 54 through 62 with your cell phone?
I did?
At a later point in time, did you arrange to have somebody else take photographs?
Yes.
And who was that?
That was a trooper from Crime Scene Services.
Okay. And did he or she take photographs with a camera?
Yes, he did.
Sorry, I have like that down. Could we have exhibit number 70, please, Ms. Gilman? And what is that photograph?
That's a photo of the defendant's left side of his forehead.
And is that a fair and accurate representation of how his forehead looked on May 16th of 2020?
Yes.
Could we have 71, please? And what is in 71?
That's a photo of the right side of the defendant's head.
And is that a fair and accurate representation of his, what you saw on his forehead on the 16th?
Yes.
Could we please have 72? What is 72?
That's a photo of the defendant's right hand.
Right. Can you zoom in just a little bit, Ms. Gilman? Thank you. And there's a ruler in there. Where's the ruler from?
That's from the trooper from Crime Scene Services.
Okay. And is that typical that they use a ruler when they take photographs?
Yes.
Could we please have 73, please? And what is 73?
That's a photo of the defendant's left arm.
And could we have 74, please? And what's in 74?
I believe that's a close-up photo of the defendant's left arm, some scratches.
Okay. And does that one have a ruler?
Yes, it does.
Could we have 75, please? And what's in exhibit number 75?
I believe that's the defendant's left wrist.
Okay. And there's some black marking on his hand in this picture. Is that fair to say?
That is.
What is that?
That's fingerprint ink.
Okay. And could we please have number 76? What's that?
That's a photo of the defendant's knees.
Okay. Could we please have exhibit number 77? What is exhibit number 77?
A photo of maybe the defendant's right arm. I'm not sure if it's right or left arm, but I think the right arm.
And could we have exhibit 78, please? What's on exhibit number 78?
A photo of the defendant's left ankle.
Could we have exhibit 79, please? What's exhibit number 79?
A photo of the defendant's left foot.
Okay. And exhibit number 80, please? What is in exhibit number 80?
I believe that's the defendant's right arm.
And could we have exhibit number 81, please? What's in 81?
That's a photo of the defendant's left foot.
And could we have exhibit 82, please? What is in exhibit 82?
That's a photo of the defendant's right leg.
And could we have exhibit number 83?
I've seen this movie, Harrison Ford is Innocent. It was the one-armed man. It's always the man with the prosthetic arm. Thank you so much, Lefty.
Please. Are you able to tell what body part exhibit 83 is?
I'm not, no.
Is there a ruler in that photograph as well?
There is.
And exhibit number 84.
He claimed all these scratches are from carrying her through the thickets. So, yeah. And Marissa is right. No more calves on this guy. Small calves like the rest of us.
What is in exhibit?
And for those people who are mentioning the photos in the audit that just dropped of the Canton Police Department, one of the many things they mention about the investigation is no pictures taken at the crime scene of the body.
Exhibit 84.
A photo of the defendant's shin.
Could we have exhibit number 85, please? What writing generally is contained on the outside from?
That's left foot.
And could we have exhibit 82, please? What is in exhibit 82?
That's a photo of the defendant's right leg.
And could we have exhibit number 83, please? Are you able to tell what body part exhibit 83 is?
I'm not, no.
Is there a ruler in that photograph as well?
There is.
And exhibit number 84. What is in exhibit 84?
A photo of the defendant's shin.
And could we have exhibit number 85, please? Can you describe what's in exhibit 85?
I believe that's another photo of the defendant's shin.
Could we have 86, please? What's exhibit number 86?
That's a photo of the defendant's kneecap.
And could we have 87, please? What's in exhibit 87?
I'm not sure what body part that is, if it's an arm or a leg.
Anything that you were asking the trooper to memorialize in that picture?
Yes, any scrape or cut. Yeah,
Okay. And was that generally the purpose of taking these photographs?
it was.
I'm sorry, I can't see that 87. Okay, thank you. Could I have exhibit 88, please? And what is contained in exhibit number 88?
A photo, I believe, of the defendant's leg.
Thank you. Can I have the lights back on, please? Thank you. So subsequent to May 15th and 16th, did you apply for any search warrants?
I did.
And what search warrant did you apply for?
I applied for and was granted a search warrant for the defendant's clothing and belongings from Norwood Hospital.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
And questions are being raised about the audit report, if it's allowed in. I, of course, always rely on Jemima to be my legal aid.
Some items together with a bag that have been marked.
Miss
exhibit number
Jemima, can you get it for me?
290.
And she says it's probably not going to be allowed to be used as evidence,
Take out the contact.
but other people on Twitter says it can, so we'll have to see. It's Bev. I won't allow it.
What is that?
No, there's a lot of stuff. One of the funny little things in it is their cameras now record and delete every 888 days. Apparently, they changed the policy on that one.
The defendant's jeans.
Okay. And is there anything in the jeans?
There's a belt attached.
Okay. All right. And do you recognize these?
Yes, I do.
Did you collect these?
Yes, I did.
Where did you collect these from?
From Norwood Hospital.
Okay. So if we could put them back in the bag.
The evidence and the crime scene protocol that gets mentioned with John O'Keefe is that first responding officers should have photographed John O'Keefe at the location where he was found before fire rescue moved him to the rescue. All interviews of critical witnesses, Jen McCabe, Kerry Roberts, should have been conducted at Canton PD. Consensual recorded witnesses interviews should have been conducted. The MSP, along with Canton PD, should have maintained a police presence at 34 Fairview. All video footage files maintained at Canton PD's computer system of Karen Reed's Lexus while it was housed at Canton PD from January 29th should have been requested and turned over early in the Karen Reed case to lead investigators for any action as deemed appropriate. So Beverly Canoni again misstated that there was no reason to keep the video evidence. It had nothing to do with the crime. So they can ask about this audit and they can use it, but if they can get it in, that's the big question. There was a guy who went to law school in New York who never practiced in Massachusetts. He said that maybe you can get the auditors in as witnesses. Jemima says it's probably too late and it's on the discretion of Beverly. I won't allow it. So, but interesting, it drops the same day the Karen Reed trial starts. So you will probably be spending your night hearing all of us talking heads talk about it.
Sergeant, is there any writing on the outside of that bag?
I don't remember it.
There is.
What writing generally is contained on the outside of the bag?
Date of
This is not the correct bag for evidence.
location, who collected it, description of what's inside the bag, and from where.
Okay. And are there any names on the bag?
Yes, there is.
Whose names are on the bag?
My name is on the bag.
Okay. And is that writing yours as well?
It is.
Okay. Just take that. Okay, and then you can take out.
It's okay, that's fine. I had examined all the exhibits. I don't have to examine them at this point, Judge. I'm satisfied with them.
Very good.
And these were admitted by agreement?
Yes.
Yes, this is full day of trial, so roughly an hour left.
Exhibit number 289. Can you please take that out
Nora, may I see?
and hold it up?
Yes, you can stand.
And what is that?
This is a white T-shirt or white shirt.
Okay. And is it your understanding, how did the clothes come to be in that condition? You can put it back in the bag.
The clothes are likely cut from the EMTs.
Okay. And could we play exhibit number 278 at this time, please, Ms. Gilman?
They should call this guy to the stand in the Karen Reed case.
The 15th.
Shouldn't he have changed his gloves?
Yeah.
It's more for show. Yeah, but not for this, right? It's 1.25.
Play the second video, please. Just pause it for a second, Ms. Gilman. Sergeant Klepkowski, is there a time that's on the video?
Yes.
There is.
What is it?
It's approximately 5:30 a.m.
And do you have an understanding about the accuracy of the timestamp on this video?
The timestamp is off by about 7 minutes.
Okay. And what is your understanding about what these two clips are?
So that's video surveillance from the residence inn hotel in Dedham of the defendant walking into the hotel.
Okay. Can you please continue playing? Okay, have the lights back on, please. What, if anything, did you do on Sunday, May 17th of 2020 in connection with this investigation?
I spoke to Dr. Matthews from the medical examiner's office.
And on Tuesday, May 19th, what, if anything, did you do?
Myself and Detective Lavery from the Dover Police, we conducted an additional neighborhood canvass of the home in Valley Road and the pond.
And throughout the end of May and June, what, if anything, else did you do?
I participated in additional interviews of witnesses.
And then various persons have spoken with police and the prosecution throughout the last 5 years. Has it been your responsibility to document their statements?
Yes.
In directing your attention now to the spring of 2021, the end of March, what, if anything, did you do?
So I believe it was March 19th, I collected a DNA sample from the defendant.
And can you explain how you did that?
It was a saliva sample.
And so how does one collect a saliva sample?
So essentially, the kit it's basically like a lollipop stick, and you swab the inside of someone's mouth to collect their saliva. And then you transfer that saliva onto a piece of paper and give that to the lab.
Okay. And what, if anything, did you do with the saliva sample that you took from Dr. Carter?
I brought it to the State Police Crime Lab.
Just a minute, please.
Yes.
No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Attorney Renington.
How long have you been a homicide detective, sir?
I was in homicide from July of 2016 to November of, till last January.
And prior to that, what did you do for the state police?
I was assigned to field services in uniform on patrol.
So prior to being on patrol, obviously you have to go to the academy, right?
That's correct.
When you're in the academy, you learn things, you study from manuals, you have instructors, things of that nature, right?
Correct.
One of the things you learn would be how to perform, if you will, a crime scene investigation, correct?
I can't recall that particular class, but I'm sure we.
How can you be a detective specializing in homicide and not recall a class on a crime scene examination?
I'm just not certain at this moment that when I was in the academy, I had a class geared towards a homicide investigation.
Okay.
I don't recall that. It may have happened, but I don't recall it.
How about afterwards, once you graduate from the academy and you become a trooper, do you have continuing education classes you attend to?
Yes, I've attended some classes.
Okay. Crime scene investigation?
I'm not sure I've attended that particular a course called crime scene investigation.
All right. So, in any event, sir, you were assigned to Michael Morrissey's office as Norfolk County District Attorney at the time frame of May of 2020, right?
I was not. Yes, that's correct.
And you have been working in Morrissey's office for how long?
I started there in July of 2016.
So about 4 years, right?
Yes.
And Fanning was your supervisor?
Yes.
So when you initially were assigned to this investigation, the first thing you did was get intelligence, if you will, from the other officers that had been already involved with the beginning stages of the investigation.
The first thing I did was spoke to Sergeant Fanning on the phone about this case.
All right, and Sergeant Fanning told you basically what he had, what his understanding was, a missing person, right?
That's correct.
Possibility of interviewing people that might know her location.
Yes.
What was the next thing you did? You went to talk to Dover Police?
So the next thing I went to the Dover Police, yes.
All right. And when you went to the Dover Police, you spoke with them about the circumstances that, if any evidence or observations that they had obtained, right?
There was probably several conversations about what was going on at the police station.
And you know that there were a number of other departments involved, the Dedham Police, the Dover Police, the Medfield Police, they were all involved in looking for this individual McLean, correct?
Yes.
You know that there was a ping that had been utilized to try to locate her cell phone, right?
Yes, there was a ping.
You know that ultimately where her cell phone was located was right in the bedroom, right?
Yes.
But the pings were going off all over the place. They were going off in the woods, they were going off behind the house, they were going off in a neighboring property, right?
I don't know exactly where the pings were going, but I know they were going in the wooded area around her home.
So they actually had dogs, you know, the canine dogs going in the woods because tracking down the pings that were coming out of the woods. You're aware of that, right?
Yes.
Is there any non-canine dogs? Canine is just another word for dog.
At some point, sir, you're aware that the police went into the house itself, Harry's house located in Dover, right?
At some point, I was made aware of that. I'm not sure when, but I wasn't made aware of that.
All right, and by the way, in your beginning of your testimony, you told the jury that you are the lead investigator in this case, right?
That's correct.
All right, so as the lead investigator of the case, you're the apex guy. In other words, everything that anybody below you has done, you are aware of, you try to be aware of, and have notes and have documents that you've been able to review and get up to speed, right?
Yes.
So, which police departments were involved prior to your involvement with the state police? You know,
I believe the Dedham Police were involved and the Dover Police were involved.
about Medfield.
Medfield was involved. I'm not sure if I had known that at that moment, but I know they were involved, yes.
So in your investigation, you determined that the house in Dover was owned by Gary Tuerk, right?
Yes.
And in the course of the investigation, you learned that at some point, he actually signed a deed transferring title to Kathleen McLean, right?
At some point. I don't recall exactly when, but yes.
So in the course of the investigation, sir, did you determine that when he signed the deed, that it was ultimately recorded on a particular deed?
I believe it was.
I mean, that was
I'm not sure.
the investigation, wasn't it?
Are you talking about the very first night of the investigation?
No, I'm talking about you being the apex guy. You're on top of the investigation. You're in charge of the investigation. You know that this house was located in Dover and it was owned by Harry Tuerk, right?
Yes.
You know at some point that Harry Tuerk had a relationship with Kathleen McLean, right?
Yes.
You know that at some point, do you know when that Kathleen McLean and Harry Tuerk met, sir, as the lead investigator?
No, the only thing you get is him crying and say, I didn't want to do it. Now it's cross-examination and he's gonna punk this detective for not doing a thorough investigation.
If I suggest to you that it was in November of 2017 that they met online, does that refresh your memory?
I know they met online on the dating app Bumble. I'm not sure exactly. Yes.
So November to December, January, February, March, 5 months. 5 months later, Kathleen McLean and her 3 children moved into his home, right?
Yes.
And you know that prior to that, he was living by himself, he was living alone, right?
I'm not sure of that.
You know what he did for work, you know he was a physician,
I did know that.
he worked in Boston,
I did know that.
you know he had a lot of the guy toys, he had motorcycles, he had ATVs, things of that nature. You know he had all that stuff, right?
I'm not sure that I knew he had ATVs or what all that stuff. I don't know what you mean by all that stuff.
Okay, well, I mean, he was living a life, he was a single man who was a professional of some repute in Boston, right?
He was a professional doctor in Boston. Yes, I did know that.
Quite successful in his field, right? He was the chief of urology, right?
I would agree with that, yes.
Okay. And in the course of the investigation, you knew that at some point he met McLean on Bumble, and then 5 months later, she moved in with her children into his house, right?
I know she moved into the house with her children. I'm not sure 5 months. That could be accurate. I'm not saying it's not.
Would that be important?
So God, why not
the
all?
timeline of the relationship between the person, you know, McLean and Harry Tuerk?
I think we established a pretty good timeline in the interview.
I'm sorry?
I think we established a pretty good timeline in the interview.
You did.
I think so.
In the timeline in the interview, sir, did you determine that from March of 18, when they moved into his home, that it would be December of 19 that Harry and Kathleen got married in Las Vegas? Did you know that?
Yes.
You track that down and go to get the documents from Las Vegas to show the drive-through thing with Elvis Presley and all that stuff and the license. Did you get that?
No.
Okay, do you know when they got married and the circumstances of them getting married?
I believe he told me he got married in Vegas.
Okay, he got married in Vegas. Do you know who obtained the license?
No.
Do you know who?
We got married in a fever, hotter than a pepper sprout. Thank you, Laura Riker, for a super sticker of a Kung Fu cat dog, fox, maybe?
Put in the application for the license?
No.
Do you know when they got the license?
No.
Did you know that initially, in the course of their relationship in August of 2019, they were going to be getting married?
No.
Did you know that he canceled the wedding on her and she was quite upset about it?
I don't believe I knew that, no.
So did you determine at some point that they went to Las Vegas in December of 2019?
He hasn't been good the first couple of days with the witnesses who didn't really want to testify. And what, if any, relevance does when they got married have to do with when he strangulated her?
Right? You're nodding your head.
Yes.
Okay. You just have to say yes or no. So why did they go out there, other than the subsidiary issue of getting married in the Elvis Chapel?
I don't know.
Did you know that he was a speaker at an international conference about aging at the Bellagio Hotel?
No.
Did you ask anybody to determine why they were there? Or was it just like, okay, fine, they went out and they get married, big deal, right?
I didn't investigate their marriage, no.
All right. So in any event, you guessed that they got married, and then once they got married, they came back and resumed their life, if you will, in the house located in Dover, right?
Yes.
And her 3 kids were there, right?
Yes.
So during that, and you knew from interviewing people that it was very important to Ms. McLean that her children and that she be allowed to reside in Dover. They liked Dover, it was good schools and all that stuff, right?
I mean, that's a fair statement, yes.
You know, sir, that after they came back from being married in December of 19, that it wasn't, I think I've been saying 4 to 5 months in the course of the trial. It was about 5 weeks later that he went and consulted with attorney Mary LaCivita. 5 weeks to get a divorce, right?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Nope.
You're the lead guy, you're the apex investigator. You don't even know when he went to see a lawyer for a divorce 5 weeks after he got married?
Objection is form.
Okay, it's sustained.
You know that he saw a lawyer?
I know we had a lawyer, yes.
Okay, and who was it?
I'm not sure.
Was it a divorce lawyer?
I believe he told me in the interview that he was communicating with Katie through divorce attorneys.
You mentioned in general that what we just heard, that they went back and forth negotiating issues through lawyers. Was the status of their relationship, you know, you watch Crime and Order and SVU and stuff like that on TV, the relationship of a homicide victim and her boyfriend or husband or whoever would be important, right?
Yes.
Did you investigate that relationship?
I learned about their relationship through interviews with witnesses.
Okay. So you determined, sir, that, and ultimately you were aware that they get divorced 5 weeks later, right?
I'm not sure 5 weeks is the accurate time. It probably is if you have it there, but
So when it was that he signed the deed to the property?
no.
Do you know when it was that he retained the attorney that represented him in the divorce, Mary LaCivita?
No.
Do you know that she had sent him an email confirming in January, the end of January, the fact that he had retained her as his divorce lawyer to divorce McLean? Did you know that she sent him an email?
I don't think I knew about the email.
Is it important, sir, to know that she went on his emails and saw that day, January 31st, and went to court like the next day to get a restraining order?
Is it important?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's important or not in this case.
So in any event, you know that she went and obtained a restraining order. As a result of the restraining order, he was ordered out of his house, correct?
He was?
She stayed in the house with the 3 children, right?
Yes.
He had to pay for the house, the mortgage, the taxes, electric, telephone, everything, right?
I'm not sure if he's saying the defendant had to pay for all these bills.
So this is at the height of the pandemic we're talking about.
Yes, it is.
And we all recall, you know, people wearing masks and hiding in their homes and all of us being afraid and thinking we're going to die and things of that nature, right?
Yes.
It's called, the governor's coined phrase is called shelter in place, where you're supposed to stay where?
Indoors.
What?
Indoors?
Indoors, like a house, right? Like a safe place, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now Harry is, in the beginning of February, out of the house.
Hello, Nina. Why did I call you Stina? Thank you for watching and welcome to the small but growing European segment of the channel.
And where does he go?
He ended up going to Florida.
Well, what did he do before he went to Florida?
He stayed with a friend, I believe, in Dover.
And that would be Charlie Lax.
Yes.
And he stayed with Charlie for what, a couple of weeks?
I'm not exactly sure of the timeline.
He had to leave and he went to Boston, right?
He did.
Well, he was in Boston. He was in like a bedroom of another friend's house for a period of time, correct?
I know he was staying in Boston.
Chrissy
I'm not
with
sure
the
what
good
sentence was,
explanation.
but I know he was staying.
Did you interview any of the people, like, to find out what his state of mind was, where he was living, what he was doing, anything?
No.
Did you know, sir, that the Board of Trustees in Boston wanted him to leave the building because he was not a leased owner of the building? And Richie Kovitz is the name of his friend, had to tell him to leave. Did you know that?
No.
You know, he then ultimately, with nowhere to go, went to Florida because he had a friend that had a trailer and allowed him to live in his trailer.
He told me that.
Okay, who, Harry?
Yes.
And when did he tell you that?
During the interview on that Saturday.
The interview we heard.
Yes, that's correct.
And do you know where it was in Florida that he stayed in the trailer?
He did tell me, but I forget at the moment, but
You know how long he was in Florida?
I don't.
So during the period of time that he was in Florida, sir, come to your investigation, that the negotiations were going on between Harry Tuerk and Kathleen McLean, right?
That's when he was telling me he was communicating with her through the attorneys, I believe.
And the negotiations were pertaining to basically money, right? Financial things.
I'm not sure.
Guy was married for 5 weeks, they got lawyers, and they're gonna get divorced, right? Yes?
Yes,
When you spoke to Vanessa Pettigrew, you spoke to her, right?
I did.
Vanessa Pettigrew told you that there was an issue of whether or not he would sign a post-nup. But if he signed the post-nup, everything was good, right?
I'm not sure. I'd have to see that report to refresh my memory.
Well, how about a post-nup? Was there a post-nup?
I'm not sure.
Did you ever ask anybody or find out from anybody that there was post-nup where Kathleen McLean demanded $100,000 up front plus that he paid for her attorney's fees and everything else?
No.
Did you ever determine that she wanted on the deed?
Is it relevant? Or is it just to get him to say no a lot so the jury will think that they really didn't do a good job? I don't know.
Deed to the property.
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
She wanted her name on the deed. It was his house. She wanted, for 5 weeks of marriage, he wanted it on the deed.
I don't know.
So did he sign a deed, at some point and put her name on the deed?
I believe
Only if you work for the MSP or Canton PD, because the other cops from Denton, they all had hair. Some of them even had beards.
that the day of the incident, there was supposed to be a deed, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe he did sign a deed.
Okay. So I'm approaching you with M for identification, sir. And asking, excuse me, if you can identify what this is, if you know.
Well, it's titled Quick Claim Deed.
And who are the parties on the deed, if you know the names?
I see the name Ingolf Tuerk.
And for consideration paid in full consideration of less than $100 grants to Ingolf Tuerk and who?
Can you just point to where you're...
Sure, sorry.
Oh, Kathleen McLean. I was looking down here.
Yeah, no problem. As tenants by the entirety because they're married, correct?
Correct.
No, but it could lead again, remember, they're not going for he didn't do it defense. They're going for she kind of made him do it defense. And I'm just wondering if this will help with that defense.
Now, this deed was to Valley Road, right?
Correct.
Right now in north of Florida, a lawyer is sitting with all of his placards from the Sarah Boone case and is really mad because this lawyer got him blown up and he gets to use them.
And it was signed on April 29th, 2020, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I would offer this one.
No objection. There's a smaller one in evidence as well, but that's
All
fine
right,
too.
that's fine. You can mark that.
Thank you.
292? Thank you.
Is it a fair statement, sir, that you, as the lead investigator, do not know pretty much anything about what Harry Tuerk was doing while he was in Florida as it relates to getting a job in Germany, moving to Germany, or Ohio, or anywhere? You don't know anything about that, right?
I believe
List of four.
Yeah, overruled, he may answer it.
I believe he told me about Germany in the interview.
Okay, he mentioned the fact about going to Germany. Did you follow through on that? Did you ask him what that means, going to Germany?
I believe he did. I think he told me it was for work.
And he had a job offer out of Germany.
I'm pretty sure that's what he said, yes.
Go to Germany.
Yes.
Kathleen McLean was not happy with that, right?
Yes, he told me that.
He didn't want to go to Germany.
Yes, yes.
There was an issue about selling the house. The Kathleen McLean wanted to stay in the house with the children, correct?
I'm not sure if there's an issue about selling the house, but I think it's fair to say she wanted to stay in the house.
One of the issues was what the time frame would be as far as selling the house, and he told you in that interview he didn't care. She could stay there with the kids until they're done with school and then sell the house, right?
I don't recall that part of the conversation, but
All right.
I'm not denying that you said it.
As you were investigating the case,
Because it'll take it from murder 2 to manslaughter. And that's what they're banging on. Because there's a big difference in life and 15 years. Time served, good behavior. He could be out in a couple of years.
you went into the house, into the kitchen, up the stairs, and into the bedroom, right?
I mean, I went throughout the house. I'm not sure that's the path I took the very first time I went in the house.
Garage.
Yes.
And you went into the garage, and you go up a little flight of stairs, and you go into like a little ante-room or mudroom.
I have a sister who lives in Switzerland. I have never seen that. Am I in the wrong canton? Because I've been hiking at the Reichenbach Falls and places like that, but I've never seen that. Send me a list of places I need to go the next time I'm in Switzerland.
Or something, and then you go into the kitchen. You remember that?
I believe that's correct.
And when you went there, sir, other officers were with you?
Because they chose the defense that he did do it, but there is a reason to do it. They didn't clearly state it, but they said, listen to everything, and I think they are kind of leaning against that the police in Canton is doing such a shoddy job with their investigations that they just point at a suspect and then they'll prove this suspect did it, and they just close their eyes for everything else. That's why I'm thinking that's what I'm thinking they're going with. But the opening statement didn't really make it clear.
Yes.
You determined and took photos?
Nope. My sister was working and I was out having the kids around, but still they can turn around, look into the woods, and I can enjoy the view.
Photographs of the area, correct?
Photographs were taken, correct.
You ultimately went upstairs and you noticed that the door to the master bedroom was smashed, right?
The door was broken, correct.
Okay. And you know, sir, that was broken as a result of law enforcement action, correct?
Correct.
In other words, it wasn't a matter that Harry, was in a rage, kicked the door.
Yeah, it's not premeditated. You need premeditation to get to Red Rum. But if it was just a passion thing, then it can be downgraded. I think that's their defense.
And so that was the police officers that used what's called the Halligan bar, which the firefighters use to force things, right?
That's correct.
And when you went in there and you made that observation, sir, that would be, call up 282, please, exhibit 282. So, approaching you with this, exhibit 282.
Okay.
That's a fair depiction right there on the screen, is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, that depiction on the screen shows exactly where the police officer was actually forced the door into the bedroom to get into the bedroom, correct?
Correct.
Once you get into the bedroom, you were able to make observations of the bed itself, right?
Correct.
283. And when you made the observation, exhibit 283, you saw the bed, you saw the bedclothes on the floor, right?
Correct.
You saw what appeared to be a round spot of blood in the dead center middle of the bed, correct?
Correct.
That's the area of the bed, and Harry indicated to you that night that they had sex that night, right?
He said they had sex, correct.
Okay. He also indicated to you, sir, that it was in this bedroom that's depicted on 283 that the argument occurred in the area of the bed, right?
That's what he said, yes.
You asked him if it was on the bed, if it was near the bed, and his response was in the area of the bed, right?
Correct.
Basically, not on the bed itself, but on the floor, in front of the bed, right?
I don't know that to be true.
So when you went into the bedroom, sir, you made observations of the floor, right?
Yes,
You saw the broken glass on the floor, right?
I did.
And you observed the broken glass all over the floor that looked as though it was shattered, and that was in the front of the end of the bed. I forget what you call it, the end board,
I know what you mean, but yes, in the front. Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Now, there was also a broken glass that was on a piece of furniture This would be Exhibit 284, right?
That's correct.
And that was picked up by a police officer and put up on the desk around that piece of furniture, right?
I'm not sure about that.
Well, who put it there?
I don't know.
Did you ask any of the cops that were working for you who put it there? Because they went in first, you're aware.
Yes,
And they're all running around looking for whether or not they're looking for the pinging phone, right?
that's what they were doing, yes.
Dog there, right?
I'm not sure if there was a dog there, but they were looking for Katie.
Yep.
I understand they were looking for Katie, but I'm asking you, sir, about the circumstances of the broken glass that was shattered and it was all over the floor, and there's one chunk of it that's up and it shows by Exhibit 4.
It used to be a single man's house, and now it's a place where they only been together for a very short time, and now she tossed him out and wanted the house. Yeah, it's, as a man, I can tell you, we don't need much.
Is on the piece of furniture, right?
That's correct.
Now, you don't know who placed that glass there?
I don't.
Do you know how many police officers were involved in the entry into that bedroom area?
I don't.
So when you, in the course of the investigation, go to the hospital, you learn in the academy that one of the things that's important is when you're interrogating a citizen or a person who's a suspect in a crime, there are a number of things that you want to be aware of, correct? In other words, you want to be aware of their state of mind.
Correct.
Are they aware? Are they out of it? Are they sleepy? Are they drunk? Stoned? Anything, right?
Yes.
So the first thing you would do is you have a conference with, I guess, the medical staff, right?
I had a conversation with Ailish Wilkie
All right. And the conversation with her took place on what date?
on May 16th.
And it was your understanding that you had permission to speak to Harry Tuerk, right?
Yes.
And you indicated to the jurors that you saw him walk into the room, the family room, I think it's referred, and sit down, I guess, to talk to you guys, right?
That's correct.
Now, did you know when he was admitted to the hospital?
He was admitted the previous day around 10 a.m., maybe a little after 10 a.m.
And when he was admitted to the hospital, and after they do their triage and they do their initial evaluations, what was the observation or determination of the medical staff as to his condition when he was admitted to the hospital the day before?
When he was admitted to the hospital, he was unresponsive. I'm not sure what further.
Unresponsive.
I don't know the answer to that.
You don't know. Was he on drugs?
I don't know.
How about alcohol? Did you know that he was practically dead from alcohol?
Just objection as to form.
Sustained.
Well, do you know that he had any effect of alcohol at all on this person?
At that time, no.
What about at any time?
I recently learned he had a high blood alcohol content, but at that,
Like, in other words, you were a road trooper, right?
I was.
You're familiar with stopping people for drunk driving charges, right?
Correct.
You're familiar with the breathalyzer?
Yes.
Familiar with blood testing?
Yes.
You know that when they take blood from a hospital that it's called serum blood as opposed to whole blood, right?
Yes.
You know there's a conversion factor that's involved. In other words, you're going to convert the serum level into what is called whole blood level for the breathalyzer conversion, right? So a 226 serum blood level is about a 0.40, which is like almost borderline dead, right? To your knowledge?
I'm not sure of that calculation. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I don't know.
All right, did you know he had a 226?
Oh, another serum calculation. Interesting.
Blood alcohol when he went into the hospital?
At that time, no, I did not know that. Yes, I recently learned that, but I did not know that at that time.
And did you determine, sir, and when was it recently? Was it a couple of days ago? Somebody showed you the medical records?
It was today.
Today? So
Yes.
when you looked at the medical records today, sir, were you able to determine that it was noted that he was a high suicide risk?
I did not know that.
That in fact he was comatose and was in a coma from alcohol when he was first admitted to the hospital. And when he finally regained consciousness, that's when you guys came in and talked to him, right?
We came and talked to him around.
I'm sorry. It's my take on a Danish thing called hindbærsnitter, where it's just short crust dough, raspberry jam, short crust dough, and then some glazing and a little bit of sprinkle of freeze-dried raspberries on top. They are perfect with a cup of coffee, especially if you get them in the late summer where it's a little cold, not cold, but it's not summer hot, but you're sitting outside with a cup of coffee and it's hot enough that you don't need a blanket and you're just enjoying life and getting the last sun. That's the perfect cake for that.
Around 5 p.m. the following day.
Sure. Now, the notification in the hospital records would
I
indicate
knew that
what's
would
called
bring you out of the house.
alcohol poisoning. You understand and you know what that means, right?
I do.
You made observations of the Glenfiddich Scotch bottle that was in the, did you go to the hotel, by the way?
I only went to the hotel to drop off the search warrants on the way to 29 Valley Road in Dover to do that search warrant.
Okay, so the answer is yes, you went to the hotel.
I didn't go inside the hotel. I just went to the parking lot of the hotel and handed them a search warrant and kept going.
You know, sir, that there was a bottle of scotch that was empty in the bedroom of the hotel room?
I believe I knew there was alcohol in the Jeep at that time.
Alcohol in the Jeep?
And I may have known at the time, too, that there was alcohol in the hotel room.
No, it was in the hotel room. Yes, you don't know.
At this moment, I can't. I probably knew at that time, but I just.
You might have forgot. Okay. In any event, sir, you also noted in the property, the Dover property, that there were a number of alcohol glasses and martini glasses and alcohol bottles in the kitchen and in the area of the living room, right?
I don't recall that at the moment.
Do you have, at any moment, a recall of all of these items in the house?
Are we at 29 Valley or the Residence Inn?
The Valley.
Oh,
said
29
house.
Valley.
The house in Dover.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's those U-turns for you.
You recognize that, sir?
Yes,
That's the kitchen, right?
that's correct.
Okay, the living room. Recognize that, sir? That's the living room?
I do.
Thank you. Take that down. You put the
They didn't finish their drink.
One of the things is that you interviewed some people. I think you told the jury that you had occasion to interview potential witnesses, such as Vanessa Pettigrew, right?
I interviewed her that day, correct?
And Vanessa Pettigrew, one of the things is that you showed us that she signed an authorization for you guys to get access to her phone, find out, like, by way of a phone dump, texts, photos, emails, things of that nature, right?
Correct.
And then you talked to Kurt. Remember Kurt?
I do.
And you indicated to the jury that you had occasion to talk to Kurt, and that Kurt signed a form authorizing you guys to get access to his phone for purposes of the phone dump, to get his text messages, cell phone documentation, records, and emails, photographs, right?
Correct.
And he signed that, right?
He did.
And did you determine, sir, that, let me ask you this, how many text messages did you get off of Kurt's phone?
I don't know the answer to that.
Why not?
You asked me for a number of text messages on his phone?
Like about 6.
What's that?
They're like 6 messages.
Okay.
Well, when you go to somebody as the lead investigator, you ask them to sign a document that allows you to get access to the cell phone, to do the phone dump, and try to get them to, do you ask them whether or not they deleted text messages?
I'm not sure if I asked him that.
Did you know whether or not Kurt, for example, had any type of a relationship, let's say, different than that of a friend with Ms. McLean?
Just objection as to form.
Sustained in that form.
Did you ever talk to Kurt about whether or not he had an affair with McLean?
I don't know.
Did you ever ask Kurt whether or not he deleted text messages on his phone?
I did not.
Do you know that Kurt, in fact, that there were over 5,374 text messages on his phone that were deleted?
I did not know that.
So when you spoke with Kurt, you basically asked him about the text that he had received from Harry saying to the effect of, she's a double brother, she, duped us all, and I'm sorry, and things of that nature, right?
Yes,
And you spoke to Kurt about that, right?
I did.
And Kurt indicated that he was a good friend of Harry's, right?
He said he was a friend of Harry and Katie's, yes.
Okay. Did he say that he was a good friend of Harry's?
He said he was friends with the two of them.
Friends with the two of them?
Yes.
And when you were talking with Kurt, you asked him, I imagine, about that text that he received at 4:31 in the morning.
I'm sure I did.
Did you ask Harry about the text when you were talking to him in the hospital?
Yes, we told him about the text a couple times.
Send that text to Kurt.
Why did he?
Yeah.
I think he felt bad for what he did.
No, not what you think. What did he tell you? You just told the jury that you asked him about it, that he made a statement to you in the interrogation at the hospital. What did he tell you about the text to Kurt? Why he did it?
I think he said he didn't remember doing it.
Okay. One of the things that you're concerned about as a detective is when you're speaking with someone, their physical condition as well as their condition by way of alcohol or drugs or mental illness, right?
Yes.
I'm going to approach you with a photograph, sir, and ask if you, this would be L for ID. L for ID. Excuse me. Have you ever seen that photograph before, sir?
I believe I have.
When was that taken?
I believe that was taken after the interview.
After the interview.
I believe so.
All right. And offer this one, Judge. Can you pull it up?
No objection.
All right, is there something on the other side as well?
Yeah, well, I can ask you about that.
Is that a yes?
Yes, it is. Thank you, Judge. It is. That's also a picture of Harry's head, correct?
That is.
And that would be the left side of his head, like over here, right?
Yes.
I'll offer it now.
All right, as one exhibit, two sides?
Yes, please.
No objection?
No, thank you.
That'll be exhibit 293, formerly ELF identification.
Now, one of the things that you did is you noted that he had, obviously it indicated to you at some point that he was struck by glass And then further into the interview, he indicated he was struck by something in his head, right?
That's correct.
Did you ask him if he suffered any injury to his head?
No.
Did you have occasion to observe any injury to his head?
I saw the mark on top of, I believe, the right side of his head. I think I photographed that.
Okay, so what's depicted there would be the left side of his head, right?
That's correct.
Now, in your police reports, or one of your reports, you indicated that it appeared as though he had a bruise to the left side of his head, but it's not the left side of his head, it was the right side of his head, right?
I mean, that's the left side of his head, and I see
Those
it.
are like little birthmarks. He still has them right here as we're sitting here today.
Okay.
Those little marks on the left side of his head.
I'm not a doctor. I don't know. That looks like a mark on his head there to me.
Did he tell you where he was struck on his head?
No. I don't believe he did.
Really? So you're investigating a homicide, experienced guy, head of the whole investigation. You've got the person that's making a full statement to you, tells you that he was struck by glass or something. You don't pursue that? You don't ask him that? Anything further about that? Where did it happen?
Objection as to form.
Overruled.
I'm not sure I asked him where exactly that occurred.
Okay. At some point, did anybody ask him where it occurred?
Uh,
Anticipating the case being objective?
I don't think so. I think we assumed it happened, during their argument.
You assumed.
Yes.
So let's assume then that there was an argument, and the argument was in the bedroom?
Possibly, or downstairs.
It's a homicide case, sir. You're the lead investigator. You're telling us.
Norway is about as expensive as Switzerland because they have very little farmland. So food is expensive and alcohol is very expensive in Norway.
Possibly, maybe, you think? You don't know?
He told me the incident happened in the bedroom.
Did he tell you the circumstances about her holding his cell phone in a rage and screaming at him about communicating with a woman named Kate Kelly?
He did mention that part of their argument.
And did he indicate to you that he and Kate Kelly were friends go back like 17 years?
He did mention that they were friends, and I think he told me that he had performed surgery on Kate Kelly's dad.
Okay. Did he tell you that she was holding his cell phone and showing him the text message with Kate Kelly while she's holding the drink, and he was on his knees on the floor? Did he tell you that?
No.
Did you ask him any conversation that occurred before being struck by the glass? Did she say anything to him?
I think we did ask him if she was saying things to him. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we did.
Excellent. Outstanding. What's your memory?
Objection.
Sustained.
What's your memory that what?
I think he said that she called him motherfucker and something else.
Okay.
I think that's what he told me.
And,
This is a
did
good
she
Christian
indicate,
channel.
did he
Please
indicate
refrain
to
from
you
that
in the
type of
course
language.
that, exchange that she smashed him in the head with the glass?
No.
Did he indicate that he was struck by the glass or any glass?
He said he was hit with an object, I believe. He wasn't sure if it was a glass.
Okay. So in the very beginning, and we have the transcript, in the very beginning, sir, he indicates that he was struck by a glass. It was in the course of the further questioning that he says, I'm not sure, it was glass or something. Is that fair?
The second half I know is fair, yes. I'm not sure if he said glass the first time.
All right, so as a homicide investigator, knowing that there's glass all over the bedroom floor, knowing that there's jagged glass up on that piece of furniture, what did you do to find out the circumstances of the glass becoming shattered on the floor?
I asked him multiple times if she hit him with a glass.
Okay. And in the course of your investigation, sir, one of the things that you noticed, I think you said, was the cut on the right side of the head, right?
Yes.
And that was photographed as well, correct?
Yes.
Now, I'm looking at the photographs here and asking, excuse me, if you can identify, is this a fair and accurate depiction of his head?
Yes.
Can you hold that?
Yep.
I would offer that, Your Honor.
No objection.
All right, it may be admitted.
The 295, excuse me, 294.
Can you pull up 294, please?
Spain is kind of like the European Florida. A lot of people go down there to stay because of the weather. And it's also very cheap, but it's also a very late developed country. So there's a lot of money going into it from the EU. And that's why a lot of people are moving to Spain to live in the sun.
To the right side of the head. All right. Now, Exhibit 294. Is this where you noted, you see what looks like a scabrous thing? Is that what you noted the cut by his hairline, sir?
That's what I thought was a cut, yes.
Well, it was a cut. It wasn't that you thought it was a cut. It was a cut, wasn't it?
It looks like a cut to me.
Okay. And likewise, another photograph that you guys took with a different type of lighting shows the same area of the head, correct?
Correct.
Right after that.
No objection.
All right, maybe a minute.
Exhibit 295.
Did you ask him or did he indicate to you in any detail how that actually happened? How we got that cut?
No.
Can you tell me why you guys would take a picture after the questioning while he's passed out or sleeping in the bed?
I didn't take that photograph.
Well, who did?
I'm assuming it's the trooper from Crime Scene Services.
Assuming again. It's okay, but you're assuming, right?
Yes.
Well, you're the head guy. Did you tell him to take the picture?
That particular photo?
Yeah.
No.
Well, why did you take a picture of him after he talked to you guys? He's all wide awake and aware, ready to do a Fred Astaire tap dance.
Objection, that's a
Sustained.
form.
So who took the picture of him and why?
Well, can we do one question at a time, please?
Who took the picture?
I believe that picture was taken from a trooper in Crime Scene Services.
Did he just ask him if he was sober? Did I hear that correctly? You're sober, right? Who took the picture?
You know why?
That particular photo there, I don't know why.
What exhibit is that, Mr. Reddington, so we have a clear record?
293.
I'm sorry.
Well, Spain is Florida, but without the crazy animals. They have some great whites sometimes swim past there, but and they had that little bit of an orca problem where orcas were attacking sailing boats, but it's nowhere near. They do have some snakes, but nothing like Florida. Because in Florida is, I think Florida is the wildlife that escaped from the dome in Ohio that you call Australia. And it lives in Florida now. So that's why it's so crazy.
Looking at Exhibit K for identification, sir, you made reference to injuries to his wrist, right?
Yes,
And you saw that, correct?
I did.
Is this a fair and accurate depiction of the marks on his wrist?
They are.
Now, what about this, Your Honor?
No objection.
All right, maybe a minute.
So there's,
296, formerly K for
There you
identification.
go. Now, let's talk about the Jeep a little bit. The woman, the detective from DET. What was her name, Gonski?
That's correct.
So Detective Gonski was talking about, well, the Jeep was parked pretty good in between the lines, and it looks to us as though you didn't have any difficulty parking the vehicle, right?
She said that, yes.
And that would be to basically say, okay, well, come on, man, you were fine, you pulled up to the hotel, you weren't intoxicated, you weren't inebriated, you had no difficulty driving the car, right?
That's fair, yes.
Can you pull up the vehicle pictures? Yeah. Okay, so that's the first picture of the white Jeep, right?
Correct.
Now, who owned that white Jeep?
I believe that,
Kate McLean's car. Kate McLean's car. Who owned that car?
I believe Ingolf owned the vehicle.
Yes, and he let her drive it, right?
I believe so, yes.
Just like he owned the Mercedes, correct?
Yes.
And in
I
fact,
believe so.
normally she would drive the Mercedes a lot, but lately he wanted her to ride she wanted to drive the Jeep, right?
That sounds right.
So that's the vehicle that's parked in between the two white lines next to the Residence Inn, right?
Correct.
You can see that it's parked to the right-hand side of the two white lines. You give me that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Next one. This one here is practically up on the sidewalk. You can see the tires crushing up against the sidewalk, right?
The tires are hitting the sidewalk, correct.
Are these marked exhibits?
Yeah, these are the,
All right,
Yeah, the state have shown these pictures.
117, 116.
All right.
118.
no more.
Next one is one more. Again, depicting the vehicle back in the parking area, correct? All right, thank you. Put the light on. Would you agree with me that in a lot of your questioning, Harry was, well, put it this way, he was pretty cooperative, right?
He was.
He was a gentleman.
He was.
He answered your questions It appeared, to the best of his ability, right?
I think so.
He had some memory issues or he had some difficulty recalling some items, correct?
He told us that several times during the interview, correct?
By the way, you guys were gentlemen and very fair with him and very, calm and talking with him as well, right?
I think so,
It was
yes.
basically just like a conversation effect, right?
Yes,
And there's no overbearing, techniques or anything, right?
correct.
You were trying to be fair.
I think we were fair, yes.
Okay. He did ask what day was today. He didn't even know what day it was, right?
He did ask me that.
And also, he actually got McLean's name confused, the kids' names confused. They were McLean, and then he thought, no, they're not McLean, they're Roca. Remember that?
I do, but he corrected himself, so
He what?
he corrected his statement.
Okay, so he had the mental acuity to recall that he was wrong when he said that it was McLean as the name, and then corrected that to say that, no, it's not McLean, it's Roca.
That's how I took it, yes.
Okay. When he makes the statement about the vehicle, strike that, when he makes the statement about being struck initially by the glass, well, the transcript will bear that out, and then further into the transcript, he's talking about something, right?
Yes,
It's fair to say that it's pretty clear that he was not trying to, oh my God, I got hit in the head with a drinks glass and it shattered and it's all over. He didn't say that, did he?
he did not.
He basically said on one occasion it was a glass, and after that he's like, something hit me in the head, right?
That's correct.
There was evidence of something hitting him in the head, right?
Yes, he had a cut on his head.
Evidence of broken glass all over the bedroom floor, right?
That's correct.
And he indicated that when you guys asked whether or not he hit her, and he said, no, I didn't hit her. I may have, and I think it's jury's maybe not mine, but I must have reacted, is what he said, right?
That sounds correct.
I must have reacted to her after the glass, after he was struck, right?
Is that the statement?
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, he was asked whether or not he hit her, and again, he says, I don't think I hit her. Then he was asked again about grabbing her, admitted that he had grabbed her, reacting to being struck by the glass, stated, I was drunk, I was very drunk, is what he said, correct?
Correct.
Indicated, I believe his words were, I must have snapped, is that correct?
I believe he did say that.
He made no observation, I mean, he had, like, scratches all over his arms, his legs, and everywhere else, right?
He did.
Looking at Exhibit 289,
Mr. Reddington, do you want to put gloves on?
sorry?
Put gloves on?
At this stage, Judge, I don't need those, no.
Ms. Beatty?
That's all set, thank you.
It's fine.
What is Exhibit 289?
No objection?
It's okay.
Go ahead.
What is Exhibit 289, sir?
That's his shirt.
Gary shirt. Okay. And as you said, it was cut because of the EMTs and their treatments, correct?
I think so. That's common.
Generally, that's unusual with what's done, right?
That's correct.
And the other exhibit would be the jeans
Yes.
belt, correct?
Yes.
What was he wearing for footwear when you guys spoke or saw him, if you know?
He was barefoot when we spoke with him, I
How
believe.
about when he went into the hospital? What was he wearing for clothing, for footwear?
I don't think he had shoes on his feet.
Didn't have any shoes on his feet, so he was barefoot, right? And that's why the feet are
Only the best kinds of towns have a mausoleum right next to an elementary school. Kids gonna learn biology somehow.
cut up or chopped up a little bit as well, right?
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure how the cuts happened to his feet.
There were some injuries to the feet, right?
I did.
Yeah, injuries to the calves, right?
Yes.
And on one occasion, for example, you made reference to, in your testimony that you referred to, and it's understandable. Could I have Exhibit 82, please?
It's because they are using the Karen Reed courtroom today. It's the small courtroom. They used to be in the big courtroom, but Bev is using the big courtroom to have the voir dire of the witnesses today.
Okay, for example, in the course of your testimony, you made reference to the fact that it was a right arm, but in fact it's a leg, right? Obviously it's a leg, it's not an arm, correct?
That's a leg.
Okay, and you made reference to his hands. Exhibit 57, please. Took photographs of his body, and he basically cooperated with your request, right?
He did.
Exhibit 57 shows what would be the left hand, correct?
That's correct.
His next photograph, please, would be Exhibit 58. And of course, that would be the hand flipped over, and it shows the marks on the wrist, correct?
It does.
59. That's the right hand, correct?
Correct.
60. That's the right hand?
The right hand flipped over, yes.
Pull up 61, please. You indicated, sir, that, again, it's the jury's memory, not mine, but you indicated in your testimony that, sir, was his right eye, but in fact, it's his left. Is that correct?
That's his left side of his face.
Does that show those two little birthmarks that I'm talking about?
I think I can see them, yes.
Yeah, right above the eyebrow?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you take that down. Take the lights off, thank you. By the way, you indicated that you took a DNA sample?
Yes,
The buccal swab or buccal swab, depending on how you pronounce it, right?
correct.
And he cooperated in that as well, correct?
He did,
And that was sent off for examination, correct?
correct.
Now, he also told you that, in fact, that Ms. McLean, that they were married and they were, at this point, living together again in the house, right?
Well, at the time of the incident?
Yeah,
Well, he was in the process of maybe moving back in, but he was staying at the hotel.
but he was staying at the hotel, but it was by agreement that he was at the house, right?
Yeah,
And he told you that he had sex with her that night, correct?
he did.
Yeah. And the DNA, by the way, whenever you have DNAs, I mean, it can be blood, right?
Yes,
It can be semen, right?
yes,
It can be sweat, right? It
yes,
can be saliva,
yes,
it can be skin.
yes,
So any of those things can lead to a DNA found somewhere, right?
yes.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes.
There is. That's all I have, thank you.
She was going out with a bang, as they say, the young kids.
Sergeant Skotkowski, you stated that you spoke with Dr. Tuerk after 5 o'clock on the 16th. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And do you have an understanding about what, when it was that he awoke that day?
I want to say he woke that morning.
The morning of the 16th?
Yes.
And what was the purpose of taking the photographs of Dr. Tuerk?
Just to document the injuries he had.
Okay. And what methodology did you take? Why did you document what you documented?
Because I thought it was important to document that he had injuries.
Okay. And did you document some of the injuries, or how did you make those decisions?
I documented the visible injuries I could see.
Anything that you could see?
I believe so.
And when you were talking with Dr. Tuerk in general, in that statement, what types of information were you trying to obtain?
At first, I was just trying to establish, background between him and Katie, and the ultimate goal was to find Katie McLean.
You asked some questions about the pandemic and people having to stay home. Were you
Come on.
staying home from work?
Hey,
during this time
Luna.
period?
No.
Ms. Gilman, could we put the residence in video back up again? Just one. Sorry, 278. Could we play that again? Okay, and could we play the next one? Can you pause it? Are you able to see what footwear Dr. Tuerk had on his feet?
I am.
What is that?
It's sandals.
Okay. Just a minute, please, Your Honor.
Yeah.
No, he has been kicked from the house for quite some time. But Hawaii is the ring of fire. It can't tip over.
Counsel asked you about whether or not you...
One second. Is there another question?
No, thank you.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Counsel asked you whether or not you stayed home from work during the pandemic, right?
Yes,
Well, I mean, seriously, you're what's called an essential employee, right?
yes.
You didn't take off the pandemic and stay in your house. You had to go out and do your homicide detective job, things of that nature.
Well, that's what I wanted to correct. There was a time, I'm not sure it was around that same time, that we did work from home, but we still went out to calls and,
Sure.
and
Investigate things, right?
we did. But there was a time that we did stay at home, yes. But I just can't remember if that was that particular
That's
week.
okay. You wore a mask, right?
Yes,
N95.
yes.
You certainly didn't, after working for 3 or 4 hours in the day, go grab a beer or something to eat with a friend after you get out of work, did you? You couldn't even go into a restaurant, right?
That's correct.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you may step down, sir. All right, so jurors, it's 4 o'clock. We're going to break for the day in just a minute.
It's exactly 4 o'clock.
Okay, so you can leave your notebooks on your chairs. Tomorrow's going to be a half day, as I had indicated, so we're going to end sometime around 1 o'clock. We are not here Thursday and Friday, as you know, and I will
I
update
forgot to
you
put
next week
my
as we get
rumble
into
up.
the morning tomorrow. There's obviously a lot of
I'm
things
such
going on
a
in the
fool.
building, so we're trying to make do with what we have and get as far as we can. So please be patient with us, and we appreciate your patience up to this point. Please remember my instructions. Don't talk about the case with each other, with anybody else. Do not watch any media reports, anything online, on TV, on radio. Don't listen to anything. No independent investigation, including going on to Google or having anybody else do so for you to look things up to you. Please keep an open mind. You haven't heard all the evidence, and please avoid contact with anybody having anything to do with this case. So we will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. We'll break at 1. We're off Thursday and Friday, and I'll let you know about next week when we get into the morning tomorrow. Thank you again for your time and patience today.
All rise, please.
So tomorrow will be another half day. As I understood when he talked about it yesterday, we weren't supposed to see. No, we are supposed to see pictures of the deceased tomorrow. So this is the lead investigator. That could indicate that we're getting the medical examiner tomorrow. So probably getting to the end of the state's case. Maybe speculating.
I'm okay. Fine, thank you.
Mr. Reddington,
I'm sorry.
you need a recess? Does your client need a recess, or can we?
No, we're good.
Okay. All right, so for scheduling purposes, we're trying to figure out next week. And I'll have more information on that tomorrow. By that, I mean whether there'll be half days or full days. Okay, we may have a mix of the two, and we'll have some more information on that tomorrow.
So, just so the defendant's aware, I would expect to rest on Monday,
Oh,
Okay.
depending on how things go and depending on how long we go on Monday. But depending on tomorrow, I guess is what I'm saying, and depending on how long we go on Monday, but I could rest in the morning.
All right, Mr. Reddington, did you hear that?
I did. I said thank you.
All right. And I'll try to have as much information for you in the morning as I can with respect.
he didn't say legal, but he did say it wasn't a red rum, so it, probably manslaughter. What turtle boy motion are you talking about, Nina? I think I've covered everything that's been. The last thing filed in the turtle boy case is that the judge granted that the state couldn't disseminate the statements.
To full days or half days next week and what particular days. There is, so the Emmy is testifying in the morning?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I've received a set of photographs that I think the Commonwealth is proposing to offer through the medical examiner.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Reddington, you've looked at these?
I have.
Do you have objections?
I do.
All right, so let me start with, there are five pages of diagrams, if you will, so they're not photographs, they're, looks like medical diagrams.
Yes, Your Honor.
All
I don't
right,
have any,
My Snoops haven't sent me a motion. Is there a decision about that? They have this annoying thing called work, so it's not always I get the motion as soon as they drop. I haven't seen it on Twitter.
Yeah, if you can just, let me just, as you flip through it, the medical, those, I have no problem with the photographs, diagrams. The only objection I have is to what we refer to as the autopsy photographs. I find it very rare that actual autopsy photographs are actually introduced into evidence, especially on I don't mean to minimize the injury, but a fairly simple explanation as to the hyoid bone and the cause of death. So to introduce into evidence these photographs that show flayed skin and cuts to the neck and then opening up the neck and then showing the inside of the neck and then showing hemorrhaging and things of that nature, I don't believe is necessary. I know the government's going to argue, they're going to say, well, we're entitled to prove our case, we're entitled to prove the circumstances surrounding the death. Well, they could certainly do that very effectively through the testimony of the medical examiner. They do not need to have autopsy photographs introduced. I am aware of the Bastarash and all the rest of those cases. I think that the court is vested with great discretion on matters of this nature, and I would ask that Your Honor would not allow the autopsy photographs in evidence. If you do, use your discretion to reduce the number that has been submitted by the government.
Ms. McLaughlin?
Your Honor, this is a first-degree murder case where the Commonwealth must prove both premeditation as well as extreme atrocity and cruelty. I believe these photographs are necessary in order to prove that the extensive injuries, the internal injuries that occurred during the strangulation, I have pared down the photographs greatly. I have even redacted one of them in order to make the area so it is only showing the internal injury of the back of the neck. Prior, you could see the skull cap that had been taken off and the victim's neck. So I do believe that based on the elements that the Commonwealth must...
You don't have to take that off.
should be permitted.
All right, so we have a clear record. Again, there are 5 medical diagrams. There's no objection to those. Okay, so those will be permitted, and they can be marked?
Yes.
Can they be marked at this time to speed things up? All right, so those are the 5 diagrams. I then have a series.
Individually or as a group?
Individually, please.
97 for 301.
All right, why don't we give Ms. King a minute to do that? Okay. All right, and then let me tell you what I have in front of me, because we're going to have to go through them one at a time, and I'll describe them. The first one appears to be a photograph of the back of the head with a ruler, and it looks like a...
It might have been filed with court today. It's not scanned and put on Massachusetts site where we normally see it. I haven't seen anything about what's in it. So I can't. It'll be pure speculation. I guess it's Brennan saying he can't be there. Funny thing, they chose to alphabetize the witness list, so Aiden was the first one mentioned, and Aiden is even on a photograph in the police audit report. If anyone is going back to read it, I'm not mad at anything. It's my reading face.
The case number on there.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so tell me the relevance of that.
Your Honor, that shows internal bleeding on the back of the neck, showing the bilateral.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, is that the internal of the neck or the?
Why don't I see you at sidebar? Okay.
Well, they are just going to argue all of that, and we're going to see it anyway in the morning. Well, wear your glasses. I can't read with my glasses this close. I need bifocals now. I'm that old. Karate chop. We had a Danish spoof movie that was about. They kind of made a Danish James Bond, and they might not have had that good actors to do the fight scenes. So every karate chop insta killed people. That was funny. Oh, Turtle Boy's lawyers filed it. I'm not on Twit, but I'm sure it's there. You tagged me in something. We filed an motion to exempt me from sequestration. Well, we can give it a look before we go to bed. I hate Twit is impossible to enhance, but let's do it to it. Carney has been named as a witness. The Commonwealth has represented that it may call him as a rebuttal witness to establish Karen Reid's purported conscience of guilt. He's an independent, credentialed journalist who has been issued a press pass through the media office of the Supreme Judicial Court. Journalism is his full-time job and his primary source of income. Since 2023, Mr. Carney reporting has almost exclusively focused on the Reid case. His coverage of the Reid case, including publishing articles, over 500, live tweeting important case development as they occur, and hosting an online stream in which he discusses and analyzes issues related to the Reid case. His streams often attract tens of thousands of viewers who watch Mr. Carney for case news, updates, and analysis. It's a high-profile criminal case which for more than 2 years has been the subject of extensive local and national media attention. And his belief that Ms. Reid has been framed as part of a corrupt and incompetent investigation by law enforcement, which has included the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, the Massachusetts State Police, and collusion with assorted civilian witnesses. Mr. Carney's reporting played a prominent role in creation of the Free Karen Reid movement, a nationwide and worldwide group of Karen Reid supporters that had grown so large and so vocal in the support of Ms. Reid's innocence that the court, balancing the First Amendment rights of Ms. Reid's supporters to express their opinion, that's their opinion, the case with Ms. Reid's right to a fair trial created a buffer zone for the free expression prior to the first trial. Due to the immense public interest in this trial, which has substantially increased since the first trial, and the court's concern that jurors not be impacted by the FKR people, the court has expanded the buffer zone. Put simply, the public interest in this case is immense, and it is critical that the credentialed journalists be provided the opportunity to cover and report. In what appears to be the latest move as part of their ongoing plan to silence Mr. Carney by suppressing his critical coverage of this case, the Commonwealth seeks to exploit the sequestration order by naming him as a potential prosecution witness, which would subject him to the routine general sequestration order in the case, lead to his exclusion from the courtroom, and prevent him from reporting on the case. In essence, the mere act of naming Mr. Carney as a potential prosecution witness would enable the Commonwealth to silence a journalist who is an influential supporter of Karen Reid and a leading critic and foe of the prosecution. The Commonwealth's desire to entirely gag and sequester Mr. Carney such that he could not even observe the proceedings or discuss them in any manner will harm the public's right to information on an important matter of public concern, since many people rely on his reporting for updates of the case. If he was a subject to the sequestration order based on the mere possibility that he might be a rebuttal witness on the relative minor issue discussed below, which may not even be admissible against Ms. Reed, it will literally prevent Mr. Carney from performing his chosen profession, cause him great economic harm, and undue restrain his First Amendment right to provide the public with information on a matter of great public concern. There is a danger that excluding Mr. Carney from the courtroom and denying him the opportunity to cover will cite it as precedent by unscrupulous prosecutors who in future cases place any vocal critic with a public platform on their witness list in order to silence their criticism of the government. To the extent the court has any concerns with the impact or content of Mr. Carney's First Amendment right to report on this case during trial, the court's repeated admonitions to jurors about their obligations to avoid any media coverage in this case, including online media, will assuage any concern Mr. Carney's right to report on the trial may improperly influence the jury. Indeed, whether Mr. Carney is able to report or not should not impact the court's well-founded concern that the jury not be exposed to any outside media influence, irrespective of whether the content tends to favor Ms. Reed or the Commonwealth. In considering the Commonwealth's motive for placing Mr. Carney on their witness list, thereby subjecting him to the sequestration order, the court should take note that this is not the first time the Commonwealth lead counsel Brennan appears to have exploited a witness list by including journalists critical to his position on it for the purpose of suppressing their ability to report on the case rather than for a good faith reason to examine the journalist's purported witness. In U.S. v. James Bulger, the defense team, which included Mr. Brennan, sought to exclude 3 journalists whose reporting was understandably critical of Whitey Bulger, a notorious and I don't know that word, gangster and murder, by naming them as potential witnesses against Bulger. Transcript filed as Exhibit A. The court denied the defense effort to exclude the reporters from the trial, finding little danger of fabrication, inaccuracy, or collusion. The court noted that the First Amendment interest of the journalist to report on a high-profile matter of great public concern outweighed the minuscule risk that if called as impeachment witnesses, their presence covering this case as journalists should shade their testimony. The court also questioned the defense claim that testimony from any of the journalists would be admissible or necessary. Here, the ostensible purpose for the Commonwealth's inclusion of Mr. Carney on the witness list is to keep him on ice as a possible rebuttal witness regarding Ms. Reed purported conscious of guilt based on her alleged communications. Is there more? Page 4 is where this one ends. Then I would have to go take this one because now Marissa found it and shared it. Thank you, Marissa. Of her alleged communications with Mr. Carney, notably, the Commonwealth already has represented to the court that they do not intend to introduce any such evidence in their case in chief, and they only intend to do so on their rebuttal case if the defense opens the door during cross-examination of witnesses. The Commonwealth alleges were intimidated by Mr. Carney and Ms. Reed. At best, the purported evidence of Ms. Reed's consciousness of guilt and Mr. Carney's testimony in support of such a claim is weak, speculative, and to the extent that it's even remotely admissible, its probative value almost certainly will be outweighed by a prejudicial impact. Thus, without regard to the merits of the Commonwealth's speculation about Mr. Carney's knowledge or ability to provide relevant evidence of Ms. Reed's purported conscience of guilt, the likelihood of the admissibility of the evidence and or the Commonwealth's need for Mr. Carney's testimony at trial is virtually non-existent and is substantially outweighed by Mr. Carney's First Amendment right to report on the case and his right to earn a living. Assuming, arguendo, that evidence of Ms. Reed's consciousness of guilt based on her interaction with Mr. Carney is admissible, it's hard to fathom why the Commonwealth would deliberately draw attention to Mr. Carney's action and his motivation for them by calling him as a witness without having any opportunity to speak to him in advance of his testimony. It strains credulity that experienced prosecutors would willingly afford Mr. Carney the opportunity, on direct examination no less, to explain and then place in context the substance of his purported communication with Ms. Reed, where such evidence clearly would be harmful to the Commonwealth's case and almost certainly support the defense's position. Put simply, the likelihood that the Commonwealth will actually call Mr. Carney as witness appears virtually non-existent. It is clear that Mr. Carney's First Amendment rights as a journalist to continue his reporting on a matter of great public concern and his right to earn a living substantially outweighs the Commonwealth's dubious and transparent speculative assertion that he may be needed as a rebuttal witness. Mr. Carney respectfully brings this matter to the court's attention before the jury selection begins on April 1st. In these circumstances, enforcing a general sequestration order to exclude Mr. Carney, a credentialed journalist, from attending the trial and reporting on the case would violate the First Amendment. There's no question that he has a First Amendment right to attend the trial in this case. To the extent the Commonwealth has, in fact, sought to exclude Mr. Carney because he's a well-known vocal and prominent critic of their case against Ms. Reed, the First Amendment does not permit or tolerate discrimination between members of the press in granting access to trials and other governmental proceedings, including where, as here, Mr. Carney's exclusion appears to be based upon the disdain for the content of his reporting rather than his actual need as a witness. During the first trial, Detective Lieutenant Brian Tolley of the MSP, an essential witness against Ms. Reed and Mr. Carney, acting as a messenger for prosecution witness Gretchen Voss, redacted. Ms. Voss did, in fact, attend the first trial despite being on the Commonwealth's witness list. A court may not selectively exclude news media from access to information otherwise made available for public inspection. Such a practice is unquestionably at odds with the First Amendment. Neither the court nor any branch of government can be allowed to affect the content or tenor the news by choreographing with which organizations has access to the relevant information. City could not allow one newspaper access to public records and not another. Exceptions to sequestration orders are commonly granted. There is an abundance of precedents for exclusion from a sequestration order with respect to certain categories of witnesses, such as government cases, case agents in criminal cases, and expert witnesses in both civilian and criminal cases. Given the unlikelihood that Mr. Carney will be called to testify and in view of the exceedingly narrow scope of any relevant testimony he might offer, the public interest in his being able to cover this proceeding far outweighs any conceivable interest in excluding him from the trial of this case. District courts has considerable discretion in fashioning sequestration orders. Indeed, the Commonwealth sought and obtained exemption for District Attorney Morrissey and a victim advocate in the case at the final pretrial confirmation, two witnesses who clearly favor the prosecution in this matter. Finally, based upon their placement of Mr. Carney on their witness list and recent filings and proceedings held before the court and Judge Sitsky, it is obvious that the Commonwealth A, believe that Mr. Carney's testimony will incriminate both him and Ms. Reed, and B, knows that if Mr. Carney is called as a witness, he will be unable to report on this case. The irony of the Commonwealth's conduct is not lost upon us. In essence, the Commonwealth has placed Mr. Carney on the witness list for the purpose of silencing his criticism of them, with full knowledge it will cause him economic and or emotional harm, which is a form of harassment akin to the witness intimidation charge they have repeatedly charged him with. As the court is aware, Mr. Carney presently is under indictment for several counts of alleged witness intimidation related to his interaction with some of the witnesses against Ms. Reed. In March 2024, a grand jury declined to indict Mr. Carney and Ms. Reed for conspiring to commit witness intimidation, but on March 20, 2025, ADA Cosgrove represented that this matter was still under investigation and could result in the Commonwealth impaneling a second grand jury. Putting aside the issue of whether the Commonwealth may offer Ms. Reed's alleged uncharged bad acts, which are presently under investigation as evidence of her consciousness of guilt during this trial, as a matter to be addressed by Ms. Reed's legal team if appropriate, it is clear that if Mr. Carney were examined under oath as a prosecution witness, the Commonwealth would seek testimony from him which they deem incriminating to Ms. Reed and himself, as related to his existing indictments and the alleged investigation cited by Mr. Cosgrove. There can be little doubt that the Commonwealth would then seek to use Mr. Carney's retrial testimony against him in proceedings against him. In these circumstances, as attorney for Mr. Carney, we have no choice but to inform the court that if Mr. Carney were to be called as a witness against Ms. Reed due to the proposed subject matter of his testimony and the circumstances described above, on advice of counsel, Mr. Carney will assert his Fifth Amendment privileges and refuse to answer any questions. The fact without more should exempt Mr. Carney being subject to the court's order of sequestration of witnesses. For the foregoing reason, the court should allow Mr. Carney to be exempt from this sequestration order. Mr. Carney respectfully requests that the court enter the foregoing orders as such other relief as it deems met and proper. So that is what Aiden has asked him. They couldn't get the gag order. That's why they gave him the honeypot treatment. Then they put him in prison for 60 days. Then they tried to get him kicked out of court by bringing fake victim to the court. They will do whatever they can. Justice has nothing to do in Canton, Mass. Judge Bev is so heavily biased that I actually, and you know me, I am not one of those people who will yell hell and high water because I know it won't change anything. But I actually used all caps in a message yesterday to Jemima saying, why isn't anyone doing anything? There must be some professional governing body looking at this saying, this is just too obvious. You can be biased. Every judge has their biases. But this is too obvious. Well, they can just appeal. Well, there must be someone out there who looks at this and say, this is such a horrendous way she is doing it. Someone must take her to her chambers and say, Bev, put down the white claw. We need to talk. And tell her, you're ruining our gig. The good thing about being a little bit shady is just being a little bit shady. If you are very shady and very transparent, everyone starts looking at you. Just look at the, 230 pages of police audit that came out today because someone started shining the light on you and they found out that you were not following any rules and you were not doing what you're supposed to do. They can put it in whatever language that they will, but that's what's in the audit. They broke every rule in the book. Do you want your court system to have the ire of the JOC? Why can't anyone take a talk with Beverly and say, you gotta tone it down, girl. You really gotta tone it down because it's being too obvious that you are so heavily biased that everyone is talking about it. An idiot in Denmark with a heavy accent and a bad YouTube channel can see it from where he is, and he's 6,500 miles away. Come on, girl. Relax. No, you can't see my boobs. It is and will always be the Canton Triangle. One hand washes the other, and we'll let it go. God kväll. Turning in after a long student politics meeting. Oh, I feel sorry for you. Those are horrible. You didn't miss much in court today. We saw the scratches on his body. Other than that, we were listening to 3 hours of an interview that if we cut out all the breaks or all the white noise, it could have been 15 minutes. I mean, I bet you the truth is Pelosi was in town driving around. Can't let that cat out of the bag. When? Because they don't care. Well, they should care because there's also a tomorrow. It seems like, because we're watching another trial now, that judge is nowhere near what Bev is. He's actually quite fair. Bev is constantly trying to insert herself in a case. We know from the last time, that wasn't this case. This was the Theodore Edscombe case, where the judge went to some kind of judge meeting where they talked about stuff. There should be some kind of ethical, I don't know what to say, but someone should be telling Bev, cut it out, girl. It's too obvious now. Again, tipping the scale of justice, every judge does it. But she is flatly sitting on the side of the Commonwealth. And it's horrendous. And I don't know what to say, but someone at that courthouse should do something. Not for Karen Reed's sake, because she has a great defense team, but another judge who don't want to be painted with that tainted brush should tell her, stop it. How about you get me another claw? I don't know how many of your politicians drink. Yeah, that was the only good judge because he's in juvie court now or traffic court. Address, please. Well, you can ask FD Food Fairy. She found me. Or Panilla. I think that court judges in our country is much worse regarding corruption than Bev. But you have a lot of oversight over them because you have all of these. Every time I'm in Lausanne, every time I'll get some flyer about what you're going to vote about. Switzerland, for those of you who don't know, it has a lot of direct democracy. They can vote on everything. If they get enough signatures, they will have a vote on it. And I have had flyers from everything from weed to... I think someone wanted to ban Facebook once because think of the kids. I don't think they ever voted on that one, but they have a lot of direct democracy, so you should have some oversight over your courthouse as well. Isn't the Theodore Edscombe, I can't remember his name, Borowski, isn't he in juvie court or is it traffic court? What about the ACLU? Would they have any power? They tried the last time complaining about the First Amendment buffer zone. Didn't help. Not that free. Yeah, but you're a small country. But while Brandon and Lefty finds out who is the biggest big talker, smallest doer in, they can meet up in Tennessee. I found out that they have a midget wrestling show in the same place where Dollywood is. So they can get in the ring and figure it out there. Better lawyer up. I'm going to cover the trial. The rest of you who are not trying to get into a fight with either Brandon or Lefty, you should come back tomorrow, because tomorrow we'll have half a day following this interesting case. Tomorrow will be the ME day. So pictures might be shown that we don't want to see. Thursday at noon, when Discord is off, Valhalla and I will be rewatching the opening statements from the first Karen retrial, just to kind of see because we kind of forget what happened this long ago. We will also. I had something that I forgot that I had. I forgot it. Oh, I will be reading Plevin's masterpiece. Some say War and Peace is to Plevin's book as what Das Kapital is to Donald Duck. So I will be reading that and at some point giving you my fair and heavily biased but still fair review, because I can take my contempt of Plevin out of it and try and give a fair review. I might even have a little talk with the lovely Jemima if she's just as annoyed as I am by his writing style. So yeah. Everyone else who is not fighting Lefty or Brandon, have a wonderful night. Lefty and Brandon, you two cockrolls. I think that's the name with young roosters. Go yell at each other in Valhalla's chat instead. The rest of you still yell at each other in Valhalla's chat, but come back tomorrow. Well, Brandon and Lefty is welcome back as well.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor.
All right.
100. Because it is 100%.
percent.
So you literally built a cannon?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right, I'm in love.
Go back. Please do that again. Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't have cared.
You wouldn't have cared?
No.
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
No.
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
Probably did. Everybody has.